The NFL regular season is over. Congratulations to our 2024-2025 Cappers Contest champion, Nunya. Nunya Business getting all the money. Congratulations to you, my friend. Couldn't go to a better guy. But competing for cash is not over because it is now time for our second annual confidence pool. There are 13 games in the NFL playoffs, so you have 13 slots to use. Your 13, number 13 is your most confident spot. These are all straight up, not against the spread. You have to use each spot, 13, 12, 11, 10 down to 1. You can't use the same slot twice. If you cash your number 13, you get 13 points. If you cash your number 1, you get 1 point. The capper with the most points after the Super Bowl wins. The top 10% get paid.
And it's only $50 to enter right now at pubsportsradio.com. Sign up before Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. Get in all the action with our Pub Sports Radio crew.
And we will only take $3 for fees. So $47 goes into the pool, and we will compete for the cash. Pub Sports Radio is very excited to announce the dates for Pubapalooza 4. The most exciting weekend of the gambling year. Round 1 of March Madness. It's all going down in San Antonio, Texas at the Southtown 101, Thursday the 20th till Sunday the 23rd. It's going down, baby.
Scheduled events every day that weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's all going down in Southtown 101. Come hang out with some of your favorite Pub Sports Radio personalities.
Ooh, I can't wait. Meet us in Texas, baby. It's going. Oh, well. I thought, welcome to Pop Sports Radio, betting with the bag. We have some Wi-Fi issues with Jose in San Antonio. So he has loaded up the graphics, but I will be producing the show. For some reason, I thought that we would go then into our much longer breakdown intro video. So I was ill-prepared, let's call it. Ill-prepared for the show starting now. But welcome all to Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Putting out the tweet for the link right now to the show. But let's just start by sending all the prayers and our thoughts with our Los Angeles Cappers and our family members in Los Angeles dealing with the fires. Unbelievable. Just the destruction, and it's in full flight right now. So we're thinking of all of the Cappers in Los Angeles, and just hoping that everybody is safe. I know a few of you guys have been evacuated. We're not sure if more of you will be evacuated. Daryl is not going to be able to come on the show today. He's not been evacuated yet, but we're thinking of all of our Los Angeles Cappers, and our thoughts are with you guys. Also, the confidence pool. The confidence pool, $50 signups. We need signups. We need to pack this one up. We go live with the confidence pool in about 53 hours. It is $50 to enter. And it's a great pool. 13 games in the playoffs. It's all straight up. Your most confident spot, you would use your 13 slot. And your least confident, your 1 slot. So if your 13 slot cashes, you get 13 points. If your 1 slot cashes, you get 1 point. It's pretty simple. There's a ton of strategy that goes into it, especially as you move forward. And we need as many people to sign up as possible. We'll go through exactly how to do that tomorrow when Jose has Wi-Fi. Another thing about that is that if Jose doesn't have Wi-Fi, we won't be doing the horse race today. That will be tomorrow. We'll do 2 tomorrow because instead of giving out $50, we're giving out free entry into the confidence pool. So if he's back in time, we'll do that today. If not, we'll do that here. We'll rock that out tomorrow. We'll do 2. So shout out to all the Cappers joining us. I'm so happy to be back in business with you guys. I have missed you guys. I'm looking forward to be back more than twice a week here. Thursdays, Fridays. Yesterday was nuts. I did not like the NHL card. I mean, the Capitals against the Canucks. I mean, the Capitals are going to be the best fade in the NHL as we move forward. But the Canucks are a fade too, so I almost bet the Canucks. I want to fade the Capitals so bad, but I stayed off of that. The Canucks completely outplayed the Capitals. The Capitals are not nearly as good as their record indicates. Then I probably should have moved on the Panthers, when Ekblad was announced into the lineup. They've been playing very underwhelming hockey. I probably should have moved on them, and I didn't. We had the 3 low-scoring hockey games last night. So what happened for me last night, absolute rarity, no action. The 3-1, I mean, it could have taken Avalanche on the puck. I could have live bet the Avalanche. I thought about it a few times watching that game. No action. I went to sleep at like 10:30, which I don't think I've done, ever. So I'm ready to fire away. I've made moves. I've made one move in NBA. We'll be capping that card together. I've made moves in NHL. And then we have Bobano for college basketball. And these Thursdays have been very profitable for me here. So we have a great, great show. So no drill because of the fires. We have Bobano rocking with us. And as there is a issue in Texas with Wi-Fi and the storm coming in, the same is going on in Dallas. So we may not have Dabby Cab on today's show. So we'll see how things go. Here comes, we got Stacks plays of the day, but also Wine Time Sports says, please pray for SoCal. We're not prepared for these kind of horrible events to happen. Me and my family are not in the area of the fires, but I know people that have already lost everything. Thinking of all of you guys, unbelievably sad. So let's roll here. We got Stacks play of the day, Grizzlies and Florida Gulf Coast here from our guy, Justin McKelvey. Let's get that all copied and pasted. We have Gerald Jones in the, I did that wrong here. Sorry. Hurry up. There we go. Undo, paste, match style. Gerald Jones, Tampa -3. My co-host Troy Torrance getting more and more bullish on the Buccaneers in that spot as well. Houston Chargers under 42, and then best bet Philly -4.5, and he's got the Irish at 9-1. We'll be capping that game with Bobano as well. That's copied and pasted. There's Swiggy saying playoff pool tickets live at Pub Sports Radio. Swiggy, if anybody signs up during the show, can you let me know so we can stop and celebrate them? And if Jose's watching, I'm not sure if he's able to watch, but if anybody can help me with that. If anybody signs up for the show, please let me know so we can celebrate that. Sweaty Butcher in the house. Matthew Green says, why is this line moving towards the Senators instead of the Sabres? I believe I can explain that. Now, I haven't moved on that game, but I believe I can explain that once we get rolling. There's T-Moss, Nut Flush Allen in the house. Salatzi, and there's Gorky. This is everything that's, don't like hearing that, but he's on Penn State +1.5, Ohio State money line, and then Ohio State over 32.5 for Gorky. Thank you for sharing that with us, Gorky. We got Rem Most in the house. Great to see all of you guys ready to rock. A serious business, Nasty Nate. Rem Most plus money. I did not see Straight Outta Cornhole album cover. I'd like to see it though. I'd like to see it plus money. There's Rob McMahon in the house. Wine Time also on Penn State +1.5 and the under 46. Let's get that copied and pasted here. Mally Mal in the house. Kelly McKinnon sending out prayers to LA Viper NB in the house. Nasty Nate, that is a good question. When you ask who won it last year, it is implying that it probably was you, but I guess because I did not win it last year, I just checked out of it, pretended it never existed. But we'll get Swiggy to let us know who won it last year. Nate Dog 420, great to see you. We got Old E ready to work. Kenny Can. No, Nate Dog, the Cappers contest does not include playoff games. The Cappers contest is over, my friend. We have a champion. His name is Nunya. You can join us for the Cappers contest show here today at 3 p.m. Eastern, where we review and celebrate our friend Nunya, who will be making a live appearance, I'm hoping, on the show. Kenny Can says Florida saved his night. JP just says almost jumped on the Canucks after the brawl with Hughes. Glad I didn't. Yeah, because of the final score. Sure, you can be glad that you didn't, but you would have been on the right side because Capitals are not a very good hockey team. Tony Trill in the house. Great to see all of you guys. Thank you for rocking with us. Kong's Clips here. We got J Dub, Dougie Wise, Morgan Spooner. Let's get his college basketball action in. You know what's great? with Morgan is what we pick 10 games that I cap with Bobano, and then afterwards I go through Morgan's action. That's a part of my new schedule, part of my new routine, including Morgan Spooner. Spoon Dog! Saturated, ready to get to work. Nasty Nate on Notre Dame money line. Wow, Stack's got Twitter? Ooh. Oh, that's going to be helpful. I think that will be helpful for all of us. Nice. He's got X now. I love it. We got Mally Mal. Kelly McKinnis says, great calls from the garage with a fatty. Thank you. Not everybody enjoyed it. Some negative comments is so funny, and then you sweep the board. But I don't care. Look, the people who don't like me giving out winners once a week with a blunt in a garage, the winners aren't for you. They're not for those guys. So those guys can follow whoever they want to follow. I'm not in that garage looking for friendship. We got Nordy in the house. Slatsy says, glad to see Vasilevsky confirmed he is on the Bolts. I'm on the Bolts. Watch the Bolts go on a nice winning streak. BJ says the Bruins are in a free fall. Watch it continue. BJ says market seems to like Penn State. We got Nathan Bayer ready to get to work. Ramos, great to see all you guys. Boxing versus Flog. Great to see all of you guys. Punchline says, what's the hate on the Caps? They're playing well right now. They lead in division. Oh, they're just completely overvalued in the marketplace. Punchline. They're just going to make me so much money fading them over the next few weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks until they, they'll make the playoffs because the Eastern Conference is so weak. They're just not as. And look, Tom Wilson is one of the best players in the NHL. I mean, what hockey team wouldn't want Tom Wilson? I mean, he's absolutely perfect. He's like a perfect hockey player. Now you could say that, maybe too many headshots, get suspended too many times, things of that nature. That's fine. Look, the Capitals have a lot of character. They have great coaching. They have Ovi going for the goal record. Look, there's a lot of positives, but they're going to be the best fade in the National Hockey League moving forward. They had 14 shots in regulation against the Canucks. Come on. Razor Sharp picks in the house. Great to see all of you guys. Punchline believing that Boston hasn't fallen off. It's funny because I was on the Oilers -1, and there was a ton of people on the Bruins, which astonishes me. But yes, I'm fading the Bruins again and again and again. Matthew Green, yeah, they're doing very well. They are the best fade in the National Hockey League moving forward. But look, we make these statements, we make these bets. We put out our record. We have to stand behind it. And look, I'm not succeeding in NHL right now. I'm down 6.34 units. My ROI is minus 2.98%. If you guys want to, fade a lot of these angles that I have, that's completely in your right. This is not a show where we're yes men. We're not trying to agree with each other. We're trying to give you as much information as possible. I'm trying to succeed as a gambler, not as a tout. I don't sell any picks. I don't sell any plays. I want to be the best gambler I can be. So we don't always, the agreeing with each other is not an important part of this show. Transparency and honesty and being the best gamblers we can be is the most important part of this show. So there we go. And then we have 4 units on Notre Dame from Kong's Clips. Play of the week, though, is Soriano in UFC. Okay, so let's get to work here now in NHL. We have our star of Thursdays here on Betting with the Bag. Also, he's the star of the Ice Guys. He is the star of Hitting the Books YouTube channel, the star of the NBA OG show. And once more, just before, because we're going to start working hard here, and we got more action from a Billy bookmaker as well with Marty Drexler action. He did cash that second race that Billy bookmaker came in and told us about the Drexler horses down at Gulfstream. Just before, we're going to start focusing solely on the work now, but one more time, our thoughts are with everybody in Los Angeles. A bunch of you guys are being evacuated. We're thinking about you. We'll be reaching out to you guys throughout, thinking about our Los Angeles Cappers and hoping that they stay safe. And I know there's been no rain since May, so just hoping that the winds can change and thinking about everybody in Los Angeles right now. Please welcome from Hamilton, Ontario, our friend, Mr. Ian Cameron Bobano. How are you?
I'm good as always, and like I say, I echo that. Terrible, awful what's happening in LA and California. Just thoughts, prayers, and well wishes to everybody there.
Yeah, it's scary. It's out of a nightmare watching the Hollywood Hills were evacuated, last night, and watching it come down into Hollywood, it's so scary. So we're thinking of everybody there. Bobano, it is time for us to get to work in the National Hockey League. Let's fire away. We start 7 p.m. Eastern. Buffalo Sabres 15-21-5, 7-11-2 on the road. The Ottawa Senators 19-17-3, 10-6-1 at home. We're the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, Ontario. UP Lokinen 12-12-4, 3.05 goals against average, 894. Sabres finished 1 shutout. He's been really disappointing. There's times I watch him and I watch him make saves, and I'm like, this guy is elite. But the numbers tell the story, and the story is not a good one. Anton Forsberg has not looked good. Of course, the Senators dealing with injuries. Linus Ullmark out. David Perron has been out. He's had such a tough year dealing with his child and the sickness the child's had. Tough year for Perron, thinking about him and his family throughout these troubles. Now he's dealing with an actual injury as well. But they're down 2 defensemen with Hamonic and Bernard Docker. They're missing Ullmark and Perron. They come in off their 3rd straight loss, 3-2 in overtime at the Red Wings on Tuesday. I wanted to be on the Red Wings, but I couldn't do it because it wasn't really the 9th game of a road trip for the Senators. They had gone home. They talked about how good it was to be home. They had some good practices. They were part of the World Juniors. The American players on the team were supporting the Americans on their run. And I was just nervous to fade them. I was fine not fading them. I know the Red Wings won in overtime, but I was fine not fading them. Sabres coming off snapping their 3-game losing streak with a 4-3 shootout victory at home over Washington on Monday. Look, I was on the Sabres. You guys know I'm on this, fading Washington train that paid out handsomely. But it was a shootout, and they were down 1-0 in the shootout. So, I was fortunate there, but they were outplaying the Capitals throughout that game. Buffalo power play 18.3%, penalty killing 77.8%. Ottawa power play 24.6%, penalty killing 76.6%. Let's get into the line history and hand it over to Bobano for our first spot on the board. Ottawa minus 160. They opened up at minus 143, now minus 161. Look, I don't want them at this number, but I don't think this is idiotic. We watched the Senators deliver at home throughout the season. They're coming off that 9-game road trip. That's not as legitimate a 9-game road trip as normal because they had the holidays. There's a bunch of stuff coming into it. Remember, the Senators team is 10-6-1 at home, and I have a vividness bias of them delivering at home. This total is at 6. It's minus 108 to the over. It opened up at minus 103 to the over. We have a 5-cent move to the over. Take it away, Bobano. Game 1. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah.
The graphic doesn't look right.
Sorry. Yeah. We don't have Jose here. So we'll move back to that one here. My bad. Thank you, Rem. And please, guys, let me know because we don't have Wi-Fi in Texas here with the storms that's coming into Texas. Let me know because I'll be handling the graphics on my own and I'll be making mistakes multitasking. Please take it away for us, Bobano, Sabres, Senators.
Yeah, over by factor for me. I think it's a great over spot. I expect a sloppy game. I expect a lot of goals. Buffalo's one of those teams that, been trending over the total lately, 5-2 to the over their last 7. Ottawa, not so much, but, coming back home off that long road trip, 8 games, they finally get Canadian Tire Center back after the World Juniors ended. I think you're going to see them maybe have a nice breakout game offensively. I still don't love the goaltending situation, obviously, for Ottawa. Without Ullmark, I don't think they've got anyone close to as good. Forsberg isn't it for me. And then obviously the other 2 guys kind of struggled, Sogard and Merrilainen. But it will be Forsberg tonight. Should be UPL for Buffalo. It's a series history that's really been dominated by higher scoring games. 6 straight meetings between the Senators and Sabres have had at least 6 goals. And that's why, to me, being able to get 5.5 in some books with this total is just kind of stunning. That this total is not at the very least 6, if not closer to 6.5. In fact, you can get 5.5. It's pretty surprising to me. So, first period over 1.5 minus 120 and full game over 5.5 minus 130.
You are locked in. I think there's a ton of volatility in this hockey game, which leads to, I get the over. The over makes a lot of sense. Maybe I should spend more time with it. I think there's a ton of volatility on the side, which would mean that you would go towards the dog.
Here's the thing with the road trip spot. It's a long road trip. I don't like betting on teams in the first game home off a long road trip.
But they've been back. They were back in Ottawa, right? They were back in Ottawa for days.
Yes, they were. When they got to Detroit. Exactly.
They flew from
went back to
Ottawa to
Ottawa,
Detroit.
then they went to Detroit for that final game.
So I think that we should, tap the brakes on that.
I agree with that. And plus, what I also don't like betting against, even though it's usually a tricky spot, it's not the same thing because they got to come back to Ottawa before the Detroit game. And the other thing is, I don't like betting against teams returning home off losing multiple games in a row to end the road trip. And that's what Ottawa did. They lost multiple games in a row to end the road trip. And often I don't like betting against teams in that first home game after a bad end to the road trip.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know because I'm the opposite. I love backing teams off of a horrible road trip coming home. I love it.
That's what I said. Betting on. I'm reluctant to bet against Ottawa.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay,
no, I'm with you. No, that's exactly what I mean. When a team is off a rough end of the road trip, I don't really want to bet against them that first home game. But if they're off a great end of the road trip, then maybe we go against.
Oh, I'm 100% with you on that one.
There we go.
Maybe I should take another look at the over on this one, Matthew.
But I don't like the value. -160 with Forsberg and Ottawa here. Nah.
No, I absolutely
a little bit better again.
And I kind of like the way the Sabres have been playing. I think the Sabres are a team to back. They're just a different team with Dahlin in the lineup. But okay, Bobano moving on. Overs here. The first period over 1.5 and the full game over 5.5. We move on to Boston, Tampa, Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Boston 2018 and 5, 8-11 and 2 on the road. It was a tremendous mistake going to Sacco as a coach. And that's no offense to him, but he's been there since 2016.
It's not a coach problem. The roster stinks. That's what I've said all season.
You have to switch it up, though, Bobano.
Yeah.
The status quo was losing. Don't think that firing Monty and bringing in Sacco is changing anything. It's the status quo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was an absolutely...
That's not the change that's going to fix it. Exactly.
Nothing. It's going to do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what it did. It did nothing for this hockey team. And now Sacco's in a tough spot. This team is losing. This is put your foot on the throat of this hockey team and step down. I was on the -1 with confidence. I saw cappers moving on the Bruins. I couldn't understand what they're thinking. This was not only a fade Bruins spot, but the Oilers are a juggernaut. The Oilers are going to roll through this road trip. The Oilers are the best team in the NHL, and the Oilers will win the Stanley Cup if Draisaitl and McDavid are healthy. I mean, So Swayman 13, 14, and 3, 2.92 goals against average, 893, save percentage, 2 shutouts. When Hampus Lindholm got hurt, you heard Bobano on this show talk about the importance of Lindholm and how at times he's the best defenseman on the ice. Now I know that McAvoy is an absolute monster, but Lightning came in off snapping their 4-game losing streak with a 3-2 win at home over the Hurricanes on Tuesday. The Lightning are a healthy group. I'm going to be betting the Lightning nonstop. You guys know that. I think that they're a little undervalued in the marketplace. But they're not playing very well. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to keep betting them because I believe they're undervalued, but they're not playing very well. But the Hurricanes have often been a team that I don't fade. And I had the confidence to still fade them with the Lightning coming back. Now, the Lightning cost me a lot of money on the California trip. I expected them to bounce back in games 2 and 3 of that trip against the Kings, which they did. They played a great hockey game and probably should have won that game. It was a strange little bounce that Kempe scored that winner on. And then, losing to the Ducks, that hurt me. It hurt me financially here. So I am on the Tampa Bay Lightning on the -1 line. I'll pull that up exactly what I got here, but let's go over the line history. This total's at 6. It's juiced to the under, -118. So but there's been no movement on that total. And then on the money line here, we have Tampa Bay at -164. They opened up at -156. Take it away for us here, Bobano, Vasilevsky, Swayman. Oh, by the way, also, sorry, Boston power plays at 12.4%. The only power play worse is the Islanders' power play. Their penalty killings at 75.9%. And when you hear people talking about the Bruins, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Look, they had Bergeron, who is going to go down, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the most spectacular centers in the world. And they had Chara on the fence. They had this consistency and accountability for years and years and years. And you take a Hall of Fame defender and a Hall of Fame center off your team, it's going to affect you, and now it has. Take it away, Bobano. Bruins at Lightning.
Yeah, it's a rare time where I'm going to lay a bigger money line price than normal, but Boston really is screwed up right now. And that game against Edmonton, I can't even say enough how bad that was for the Bruins. It was not much pushback. It was being dominated, being stuck in your own zone. Obviously, the power play for the Oilers had a great amount of success. Their special teams, as you mentioned, has struggled. And Tampa Bay probably wants to get on a run. I don't think it's good enough, and I don't think they feel content enough, Tampa Bay, to say, well, we had a brutal road trip. We lost all 3 games in California, but we won against Carolina. Everything's fine. We can just slough off again. No, I think they got to try to build some momentum here, string wins together. They're back home. They have a chance to do that. They have an ailing team, struggling team coming in. So I like Tampa here. Minus 158 is the best price right now with the Lightning. We'll go money line there. And I'm reluctant to do it because this Boston offense, not exactly a team I trust, but we got the system play, Jimmy, in play. You got to bet it. It's been strong. A team off a shutout loss, which means first period over, full game over. And at least going to look at what Boston's done in this situation. Boston's been off a shutout loss 4 previous times this season. 3 of those games have gone over in the first period, 3-1. All 4 games have gone over full game, 4-0. Full game over for Boston in games off a shutout loss. And obviously that's the case here for them against Edmonton. So at least the good news is Boston does have a track record of when they are in the system play cashes. 3 of 4 first period over have hit. All 4 full game over has cashed. So I will go with that as well. Bruins Lightning over 1.5, minus 114 first period. And Bruins Lightning over 5.5, minus 118.
You are locked in. I got the -1 at plus 102. It was minus 157 on the money line. It was plus 162 on the puck line. Thank you to Ron Crawford for hooking us up with the Z-code system. I just popped that into the chat for anybody who needs it to create their own -1 lines when books don't deliver it. Boxing First vlog is on alt line for Tampa as part of his parlay. Kelly McInnes on the Tampa Bay puck line. Billy Friedrich saying Bolt's a nice parlay piece. My man Lex Steele on the house. Great to see you, Lex. Let's roll on. Next up for us is the Devils New York Rangers. I think this is exactly what we were talking about just a second ago. Now, I was on the Devils -1 against Seattle. That was a push. They had this was a very ugly 5-game road trip. They lose the first 4 games of the road trip, and they don't look very good in game 5. Now, Markstrom, I've been pretty negative towards Markstrom, even at times when he was a Canuck, especially when he was a Flame. He was excellent. He's playing as good as I've ever seen him play. He was phenomenal against the Kraken. And I mean, I've never seen him play so well. So they know that. They're playing to a bunch of unders right now. Then you have the Rangers, and Shesterkin is expected to be back between the pipes tonight from his back injury. Now, is that being confirmed yet? Because
he's in. Yep, he's the guy.
That's confirmed.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
So then So I was waiting for that to be confirmed to fade the Rangers. Now there's no rush. Oh, maybe maybe it's time now. Yeah, it's time now. It got down to -148, so that was the announcement there. This was an hour before the show, -168 for the Devils. Okay, the time is now. I need to move on to -1 now on the New Jersey Devils. From a total perspective here, we have a 6. It's -119 to the over. It opened up at 6.5, and it moved to 6. Got back up 6.5, and then moved back to 6. So it's moving towards the under, but slightly. New Jersey Devils power play 28.9%. My guy Lil Domo in the house. What up, Sancho? New Jersey Devils power play 28.9%, penalty killing 83.3%. Rangers power plays at 17.8%, and now Chris Kreider is on the IR with the upper body injury. You know what he does in front of the net on that power play. In fact, he's, I believe, 1 power play goal away from the franchise record for power play goals for the New York Rangers. Philip Hedl is day-to-day with an upper body injury. He is a great 5-on-5 player. The problem is you can't trust him to win face-offs, and it can be a problem, but he's an important piece. So you have this Rangers team scuffling. Now no Kreider and Hedl, but they think, Shesty's back and everything's going to be fine. So I expect the Devils to fire. Remember, that game on Seattle was Monday. If that game was on Tuesday, there'd be no way we'd want the Devils flying on Wednesday, playing again on Thursday after flying across the country. The game was on Monday night. They fly back on Tuesday. Maybe they go to the facility on Wednesday. This is not much of a road game for them here playing at Madison Square Garden. I was waiting for the time. I think the time is now to back the Devils. Take it away, Bobano. I'm going to set up my action here.
Yeah, I'm on the Devils just a different way. Team total instead of, because I look, the concern with the team total is they haven't been scoring lately. I mean, 3 goals was their high water mark on that road trip beating Seattle, and they had scored 2 or less in all 4 losses, including all 3 in California. But they're due for a breakout. They've got the right team, I think, to kind of cure their offensive drought, if you will, because they've played the Rangers twice. They scored 5 goals against them in both games, 5-0, 5-1. So I do think this is an opportunity for the Devils to start to have a little bit of a resurgence with their offensive game as a team. And the Rangers, exactly as we know, have not exactly been shutting teams down, other than a bad Chicago team, a reeling Boston team. Look at these recent games. They gave up 5 to Jersey, 6 to Tampa, 5 to Florida, 7 to Washington, 5 to Dallas in the overtime loss. Can't hold a 3-0 lead. Just giving up goals in bunches. And Shesterkin's not able to bail them out because of all of these problems they've had in their own end. So I'm going to go with Devils team total over 3.5 plus 105. It's a really good price. Plus 105 for Devils team total over 3.5. And I'm going to go with a prop, a goal scorer prop, just because of how much he owns this team and how much he has absolutely been a nightmare for them. And that's Jack Hughes plus 162 to score a goal in this game. He's got 15 goals in 18 games against the Rangers all time. He's got 4 goals again in 2 games against them this season. He has been shooting the puck like crazy, and the puck hasn't been going in for him lately. But this could be the team that gets Jack Hughes going once again. And again, 4 goals he scored in the 2 games this year against the New York Rangers. So Devils team total over, and a very rare goal prop, Jack Hughes plus 162.
You are locked and loaded. A Boxing First vlog says, this sounds like an overgame. That was my initial plan. After sitting with the Devils for a while, I got off of it. I don't think it's the wrong. I mean, it was my initial plan as well, but I'm just focusing on the Devils. And that's
Markstrom had been ordinary before the Seattle game. And then the Seattle game, he looked like Vezina Markstrom again.
I was
that's what you're gambling with, literally betting the full game over, which Markstrom's going to, because I think Devils are going to get theirs. The question is, are the Rangers going to get theirs? And are we looking at 5-0, 5-1 again, like the last 2 meetings? And if that's the case, good luck with the 6.5.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm right with you. Sportsman of the Year, Lucky Lefty in the house. Shout out to Tata. Love to the fam. Sportsman of the Year. We have Presidential Minded King saying Rangers are presidential tonight. The Rangers and the Bruins, you got to get over the vividness bias and fade them. And it's tricky. And there's going to be times we're going to want to back the Rangers at home. I don't believe this is one of them. And they're tricky to find out the right times.
The situation's worse with the Rangers. They don't like management. They hate management's guts. They hate the way they've run things. They hate the way they treated Jacob Trouba. They hate the way they made Capo Caco as a scapegoat and traded him to Seattle. They're pissed.
He looks great in Seattle right now.
Revolt going on against them.
Against Chris Drury.
Is
what it is, But I'm right with you. Let's roll on. Next up, we have the Dallas Stars, Philadelphia Flyers. I love these 2 hockey teams. The Dallas Stars have now won 5 straight. If you're not on them in the futures market, I'll tell you, it'll be fun to talk about what their odds go to when they use their $10 million because of Seguin's LTIR, who will be ready to go in the playoffs for game 1.
They're gonna. Yep.
I can't hit you guys. No, I didn't even get the greatest lines. I got 10-1 and 5-1. And I'm already on the Oilers, and I still think the Oilers will win the cup. But it's just, and I didn't bet nearly as much as I have on the Oilers. But I was like, I just have to have the Stars at this number in my pocket because, it's like a hockey pool or a video game. Like, who are they going to add with all this money? Imagine $10 million over a year. Imagine what you could do when you're only buying somebody for 6 weeks. I mean, good God. I mean, they're just going to be rolling here. And then the Philadelphia Flyers, you know, they've cost me some money. I'm still up ROI with the Flyers. It's the Leafs. I can't get the Leafs right. The Leafs have screwed me over and over and over all year. But the Flyers, they dominated that game against the Leafs. Outshot them 32-17. Now, this is a different Leafs team. When the Leafs get dominated in the shot market, they're out hitting teams 2-1. So it is a different Leafs team. But we'll get into the Leafs later. For the Flyers, they come off their third straight loss, 3-2 at home to the Leafs on Tuesday. I bet them in both of those games against the Leafs, and it cost me. And I know Turnsey wants to back him here. I can't do it. Shout out to my guy Sharon in the house. We have Ottinger versus Fedotov. Ottinger, 29-1, 2.41 goals against average, 908 save percentage, 1 shutout. Fedotov, it may not be Fedotov, but he's listed right now, 4-5-2, 3.4 goals against average, 874 save percentage. Both power plays have not been very good. There was Michkov had set up a perfect one-time goal to tie the game up at 3, and it was a completely empty net. With Michkov, Michkov is such a you never know exactly what you're gonna get when he's on the ice, but God, he has so much skill. This power play should be better. It's shocking that the Dallas Stars power play isn't better, but of course, as always, their penalty killing's top notch, 84.8%. They're coming off that 5-4 overtime victory at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday. This is game 2 of a 5-game trip. Still no Marchment and no Labushkin on defense. Urson confirmed.
Erson's back. Yep.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. That's very, very, very important here to have Erson back. Although he's not been very good. I mean, they're not getting good goaltending from either of the 3 goaltenders that are available. This total's at 6.5. It's minus 119 to the under. It did go down to 6 for a little while, but it's back at 6.5. On the money line here, you have Dallas at minus 155. They opened up now minus 153. They opened up at minus 165. I guess Erson being in is moving the number towards the Flyers. I'm off of this game. I could see the Flyers stepping up. I want to bet the Flyers so badly. I want to bet them, and especially against bad teams, because they step up. Tortorella always has them ready to go. But I don't want to fade the Stars. It's a very difficult situation, and I am off of this one. Bobano, take it away. Stars, Flyers.
I like the draw here. This is a draw shot. I think we cashed a draw last week. I think one of them did hit last week on the
that was
show.
The Capitals Wild.
That was the one. Yep. Yeah, that was. We were long overdue. We've had some brutal beats with draws this year, where it's like tied in the last 2 minutes of the third, and someone scores late in the third period. That's happened like 4 or 5 times this season. But this one makes a lot of sense to me. Philadelphia's playing close competitive hockey. Look at the 2 Toronto games, 1-goal games, both of them. The game in Toronto went to overtime, and the game in Philly nearly did it. Once again, 3-2 losses, both of them. At home, they beat Columbus in overtime 5-4. So they're competitive at home. And even the loss to the Kings at home back in December, 7-3, that game was 3-3 going into the third, and it just got away from the Philadelphia Flyers in the third period. So they've been competitive. They're going to get a boost from Ersson. Even the Ersson that's been not the same since the injury is better than Fedotov and Kolosov to me. At least you got a little bit of a better chance, in my opinion, with him. Dallas is playing well, so I don't really want to fully go against Dallas right now. But Philadelphia, this feels like a spot where they're going to be able to compete. Dallas has had struggles with Philly, believe it or not. You look at last year, Dallas needed overtime to beat them, 5-4 in Dallas. And actually in Philadelphia, Philly beat them pretty handily, 5-1. So, like I said, the Flyers have been playing the Stars tough last year when these 2 teams played. And like I said, we've got over. And by the way, Dallas, 2 straight games for them have gone past regulation. The Utah home game, 3-2 in overtime, and then they started the road trip with the 5-4 overtime win against the New York Rangers. So I think we got a good chance for overtime here. Plus 330 with Dallas, Philadelphia draw.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Bobano on the draw.
Oh, you got a better price at Pinnacle, plus 336.
You're locked in. And then it's interesting, Billy Friedrich mentioning this, the Stars first period. Philly first period would be the only way you could bet this, but he's off. If I was only betting Philly first period in all of these games instead of full game, I can't tell you the difference. And yet I still hesitate.
Yeah.
Because, if I feel like I have an edge, I want the edge for 60 minutes. But if I had just been doing that, Billy, I'd be in a much better situation. Let's roll on. Next up for us, we have 7 p.m. Eastern action. Edmonton Oilers 25-12-3, 11-5-2 on the road at Pittsburgh Penguins, 17-17-8, 11-7-2 at home. We're at PPG Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Stuart Skinner, Tristan Jarry are listed. Skinner 16-8-3, 2.69 goals against average, 902 save percentage, 1 shutout. Jarry 8-6-4, 3.43 goals against average, 889 save percentage, 0 shutouts. We have to get used to this. We have to get used to, if you have a save percentage at 910, that you are a top goaltender in the NHL.
It's actually Nedeljkovic, it looks like, tonight for Pittsburgh.
Is it Needles?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you set up Needles, what he's done of late here for our breakdown? Edmonton power play at 23. Oh, and there we go. Thank you, Slatsy. Edmonton power play 23.8%, penalty killing 77.4%. Pittsburgh power play 26.2%, penalty killing 80.3%. The Oilers coming off their 4th straight win, 4-0 at the Bruins on Tuesday. This is just a team that you back. If Cappers want to, feel like it's a sharp play to fade the Oilers. Another part is it's the Oilers on the road. That's where you get the value with the Oilers. And then to add to that, with their 11-5-2 on the road, to add to that, it's when are you going to get accountability from the Oilers? That's another thing that you really need to cap with the top teams in any sport. Are you going to get accountability here because they're so skilled? They can take nights off. Well, it's McDavid against Sidney Crosby. Locked in, guaranteed accountability in this hockey game from the Edmonton Oilers. Penguins come out in off their 4th straight loss, 4-3 in a shootout at home to the Jackets on Tuesday. You guys know I do not like this Penguins team. I think Dubas is a terrible general manager, and I back the Penguins for the first time all season. It was, to me, a perfect spot for the Pens to deliver against a Jackets team that's much better at home than they are on the road, and they still couldn't get the job done. Away. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I had him on the -1 line, but Malkin missed the Jackets game with an upper body injury. He may be back tonight. Philip Tomasino's out with a lower body injury. I like his game.
They actually miss him.
Yeah. I like his game. I like him at center. He's a bit of a sniper. He's not afraid to go in the dirty areas. He plays bigger than he is, so he's out as well. We got razor sharp picks giving us the Gulfstream Park full card. I love it. And JPZ right in the old prison pocket here. So here we go. I am on. Bojack say Penguins are 5-0 against the Pacific Division at home this season. Again, these are important edges and angles, Bo. And I don't want to take anything away, but I immediately go back to being 10 years old and saying that to my dad and him saying, "What do the Penguins care about a Pacific Division team coming to Pittsburgh?" But not that it isn't important, not that it'll keep it, just the first thing that jumps, immediately in my head. I took the Oilers on the -1 line. I bet it last night. We have Edmonton right now at -218. -218. Let me get here. What did I get them at? I'll pull it up here in a second here. I got too many things up, but I got them in a much better line than that. This opened up. I got it -190. Was part of the money line, and then I think the puck line was +125 or +131 or something like that. Right now, Edmonton's gone from -189 to -218, deservedly so. And from a total perspective here, we have a 6.5, slightly juiced to the under at -107. And our guy, Justin McKelvey, saying Pens under 6.5, tail to friend. I used to do this with the Penguins in marquee matchups. I can no longer trust them defensively or between the pipes. But last year, that would have been my bet. Maybe 2 years ago for sure. I've let those go. I just can't trust them defensively. I'm on the Oilers -1. Take it away for us, Bobano. Oilers, Penguins, PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was the Pittsburgh Arena is a good point, Slats. It's just terrible. I mean, I saw Dan Kingerski does a great job covering the Penguins. He posted a photo from the Jackets game the other night. I mean, it's like, if it's half full, they're lucky to have it half full. That's the way the crowds are right now with the Penguins. It's not a good scene. It certainly doesn't bode well to give the home team a boost when they see the building half empty. But yeah, Edmonton's dominated. 7 straight wins. More importantly, for the purposes of what I like in this game, in those 7 straight wins for the Edmonton Oilers over the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have scored at least 4 goals in all 7 wins. At least 4 goals. So I'm going right back to the same as I am with the New Jersey game. Rather than the regulation price, which is getting up there, and the money line, just trust Edmonton to score 4 goals, which they've now done 7 straight times. against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So Edmonton Oilers team total over 3.5 -124 for me.
Let me make sure that I got this. Sorry, copying and pasting punchlines. Sony Open action. We have Oilers team total over 3.5 at what juice?
-124.
Minus.
Yeah, Casey DeSmith confirmed for Dallas. I'm not surprised by that. I figured this would be the time they give him a start on this road trip.
That is another part of. So it wasn't just Urson being in; it was also DeSmith being in. That's important. Kenny Kincan.
He's been good though. Like 2.37 goals against, 911 save percentage. Those are solid numbers for a backup goalie.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You know, he was a fine backup goalie for the Knuckleheads as well last year. And then we have great stuff from Rem Most. McDavid, 27 points in 15 games versus the Penguins. Crosby, 7 in those same 15 games. I had no idea that was the case. Bobano on the Oilers, team total over 3.5 -124. And then, I'm on the Oilers. Oh, no, it was my late night action there. I'm on the Oilers -1. I got that -125. I got the money line -191. Puck line at +131. And we roll on. Next up, Seattle Columbus Blue Jackets. Here, Seattle Columbus Blue Jackets, Nationwide Arena, Columbus, Ohio. Jackets are very good at home, 13-5-3 at home. The issue here, and often there's two teams I'm fading due to injuries. Often the first game of fading them doesn't all, the team steps up. Like we get it. We know, especially in NBA, happens in NHL as well. But I don't care. It's not going to stop me in these two spots. And here with Columbus, everybody now will get an idea just how incredible Sean Monahan has been this season with him not on the ice for the Blue Jackets. And, we talked all year on Marchenko and Chinnikov, how good these Russians were. And I picked them both in the pool. Now, Chinnikov's been injured for a long time, and he's not coming back anytime soon. Marchenko's playing out of his mind. But if Chinnikov, Boone Jenner, and I don't mean to be morbid or anything, but if Johnny Hockey was here, I would love to see this Jackets team with the way Monahan's playing, with how they're changing everything in Columbus. And, we don't get that opportunity. But Sean Monahan is playing out of his mind. I've never seen Sean Monahan play better, even when he was flying with Johnny Hockey as a youngster with the Flames after being picked 6th overall, when I thought Monahan was going to be a great centerman, a Team Canada centerman, which he never became. Monahan's out. Justin Danforth out. Chinnikov out. Boone Jenner out. This is a forward group that doesn't have a lot of depth. I think they might be better with Goodbranson not on the ice. I think he's trash. He only fights smaller guys. He doesn't fight when one of his players gets hurt. He doesn't run up and fight somebody. He only fights when it's suitable for him. He's a fake tough guy. So I'm on the Kraken. Do I want to be on a team that's 8-11-0 on the road against the Blue Jackets, who are 13-5-3 at home? No, I don't. But it had to be bet. It had to be bet. Now everybody will see how phenomenal Monahan has been this year. Joey Decord, 12-9-2, 2.51 goals against average, 9-12 save percentage, 1 shutout. I trust him. Elvis Merzlikins. When are they going to give up on Elvis? I mean, look. 3.17 goals against average, 887 save percentage. Seattle power play 18.6%, penalty killing 79.1. Columbus power play 23.9%, and penalty killing 72.9. Kraken coming off their third straight loss, 3-2 at home to the Devils on Monday night. I was pretty fortunate, honestly. I was on the Devils -1. Yanni Gord's still out. Jordan Eberle with a long-term injury. Jackets coming off their third win in 4 games, 4-3 in a shootout. Pittsburgh on Tuesday night, and I am excited to fade them. Let's pull up the line here for this one. I didn't get a great line on the Kraken. I got -108. Now it is -118 now, so that's good. I did get up to -123 before there was buyback. I imagine that when people started studying this squad without Monahan, this line would move in my direction. This total is at 6. It's -118 to the over. It's come down from a 6.5. That was heavily juiced to the under. Take it away, Bobano, Kraken Jackets.
I'm very, very tempted to take Seattle as well if Decord's in. That's all I'm waiting on. I think it is going to be him returning because he's better than Grubauer. Grubauer has not been great, as we know. He's had little moments here and there, but it hasn't been Hasn't been a good season for Philip Grubauer, and they desperately need Joey Decord back in there. From all indicate, he's already been removed from injured reserve, and the report is he was supposed to start and make his return tonight. I'm just waiting on the confirmation, because if that's true, I think it's a good spot for Seattle. They're starting a road trip. They need to get away from home. They got to get on a run. I remember one of the road trips they started was against Carolina. They won that game after struggling at home. So do they have that in them tonight? I haven't moved, but I'm waiting to make sure Decord's in. And they have beaten Columbus 5 straight times as well. That is definitely something you want to be aware of. One thing that's been great for Seattle lately is these first period overs have been cashing for them quite a bit. And that's the way I'm going to go. And as long as the full game over is that, I don't want 6.5, but if it is 6 at a couple spots, I will take that as well. So I'm leaning Seattle, but I'm just waiting for Decord to be confirmed. But I will lock in over 1.5 minus 130 first period, over 6 minus 118 full game here for the Blue Jackets and the Kraken in this one. And we've also got a pretty strong over series history with these two teams. The last 3 meetings, 11, 6, and 7 goals. So over by Fecta for me.
You got it. Lex Steele, no need to apologize. Good luck. Good luck. I can understand why anybody would be on the Blue Jackets for the way they've been playing. And I imagine the public will be on the Blue Jackets for the way they've been playing.
No.
And I also think this sets up perfectly for those of us who are on the Kraken. But, we don't need to agree. We're not a bunch of yes men. I'm right with you, Hugh. I love Colorado.
Absolutely going to miss Monahan, though, the way he's playing. 41 points. I know first game with the key player out, a lot of teams step up. They overcome it. They win. Maybe Columbus does that tonight, but it is a big loss. And now you're looking at a center ice position now down the middle. You got to move Fantilli up there. Not saying the kid's capable, but he's still young. He's only in his second year. And all of a sudden you got Sillinger, Luca Del Bel-Baluz, and Sean Corrali behind him. So it does chip away at your center depth. No Monahan.
But the face-offs. The toughness, the size, the intangibles. Let's roll on. Next up, we have Toronto Maple Leafs at Carolina Hurricanes. We've got Jose back. He doesn't have Wi-Fi, but he's using his phone, a hotspot. So thank you so much, Jose. We're at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. There's no doubt about it that the Hurricanes have been playing very pedestrian hockey of late. Very pedestrian hockey of late. And I've tried to get over my vividness bias of not wanting to fade them. But the Leafs are coming off their 5th straight win, 3-2 at the Flyers on Tuesday. And, they're getting key things here. They're getting great goaltending from Joseph Woll. Great goaltending. They're getting, important goals, timely goals. Their power play is rolling. And Chris Tanev is playing out of his mind, which I'm telling you, that there's 0 chance that he can play 80 games like this, 82 games like this. 0. You're just asking way, way, way too much. Even Ekman-Larsson, you're asking too much. Now, look, Berube gets the most out of players. He gets toughness out of players. He's a great coach, and he creates accountable defensive hockey. And this is as well as the Leafs have played in some time. But Jake McCabe has been out, with the upper body injury. His toughness gone is a huge problem on defense. And now, Hakanpää out. I mean, he was barely there. A Yarncroc, again, they can move on without it. Anthony Stolarz being out will hurt them unless Matthew Murray can step up, because you don't want to play Wall too much, because he's never played a huge amount of games here. So now the Hurricanes coming off a 3-2 loss to Tampa on Tuesday. The Leafs come in off the 3-2 win at the Flyers. Neither team is scoring. And Kochetkov has looked a little better now. His .902 save percentage. As I said, Wall's been great. These power plays are very good. 20.7% for Toronto, 23.4% for Carolina. But both these penalty killing units are elite. The Toronto Maple Leafs penalty killing 83.2%. Carolina penalty killing 84.9%. I can't back either hockey team from a side perspective. I don't think either hockey team is playing. Even though the Leafs have won 5 straight, I do not want the Leafs in this situation. And I don't want the Canes in this situation. What I wanted was the under. I got the 6 at minus 120. I thought that was a steal. I couldn't believe it was at minus 120. It moved. So I got that pretty early last night. It moved to minus 118 at 809. Still, I was like, how is this a 6? That was at 365. I had to put it together, the 5.5 and the 6.5, just seeing if I wanted. That was together was a -133. I couldn't understand how I was getting a 6 in this hockey game. Now it's a 5.5. It's almost a pick 'em at a 5.5. I'm very, very pleased with where I got that line. That's the only thing I want is just an accountable game. Because who are the two toughest guys on the ice other than Ryan Reeves? It's Berube and Rob Brindamore.
Yeah,
it's two coaches that get the most out of their players, and they're the two toughest guys out there. Carolina's -170. They shouldn't be. But I just don't trust the Leafs, and maybe I should take Carolina on the -1 line, honestly. But take it away for us here, Bobano, Leafs, Hurricanes.
Now I'm waiting to see who's in net. If it's Joseph Woll, regardless of who's in net for Carolina, I'll be firing on Toronto. This price is just too big on Carolina right now. They're not playing great hockey. I mean, they do still have a good home record, but they got shut out by Minnesota without Kaprizov just recently at home. 4-0. They haven't won 2 in a row in forever. This is just Toronto's getting outshot and outplayed in certain games, no question. Their defensive structure keeps them in it. They're getting phenomenal goaltending night in, night out from Woll lately. And that is keeping them in every single game. And that is appealing when you're getting a price like this now with a team like Toronto. It's up as high as +165 in some spots. So I'm keeping my eye on the matchups in net. And if Woll's confirmed, I'll be moving on Toronto. Nothing for now, but I've got my eye on Toronto. I've got Toronto circled, and as long as Woll's in net, I'll probably be firing on it.
This line is outrageous. But, I can completely understand why Turnsy's on them. Completely understand.
Oh, they have a good home record. They do. But and look, Carolina can win this game. But I'm talking -175. Win or lose, I'm okay taking Toronto at this point.
Oh, no doubt. And, we have Billy Friedrich, Hurricane season ticket holder. He's talking about Ghost Despair being out. It doesn't affect him at all 5-on-5. But on the power play, it hugely affects them. And they've been dealing with injuries. Forward group, Fast being out all year, but Tyson Johnston and William Carrier out. I'm curious to see how this bangs out. I'm not against the Hurricanes on the -1 line, and I think that this line being so heavy towards them is really telling. And I can completely understand someone saying it's gone too far. I should just stick with what I have. That's the under 6 at -120. I couldn't believe it moved to -118. How is this moving away from me? Now, maybe then it was saying, maybe Woll's not going to be in. Stolarz is not out. Stolarz is not out for the year, but he's not coming back anytime soon. That's why Matthew Murray, the hopes of Matthew Murray are pretty big.
And Kochetkov, who probably will start for Carolina here, he's got meandering numbers. I expected him to be a lot better than this, quite honestly, because I like the kid. But, his numbers are only and he's 1-4 in his last 5 starts. It's not exactly what Carolina expected. And he's got to be the guy now because obviously Anderson and Shocker is out again.
Billy Friedrich says some very questionable front office decisions with Noason and Pesce. This defense is just not nearly as strong as what we're used to.
They miss Brett Pesce, 100%. 100. They even miss Brady Shea.
I agree. And Shea's had a terrible year away from them, but I agree. Okay, maybe I just stick with the under 6. We roll on. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern with the Anaheim Ducks, 17-18 and 5-8, 7-3 on the road at St. Louis Blues, 19-19 and 4-8, 9-1 at home. We're at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. I was shocked that the Flames were such big favorites against the Ducks. The Ducks are just playing really, really good hockey night after night after night after night. And these lines against them are, to me, ridiculous. They open up at +169. They're now +178. The Blues are not really a trustworthy team. Now, one thing that happened in this game, though, because the Ducks are playing such accountable defensive hockey with these young snipers, such defensive hockey, that I thought, and then Troy Terry, we hope he'll be in the lineup. He had the birth of his child. We don't know. He wasn't in against Calgary, and they missed him. Was this total opened up at 6 -115 to the under, and then it went down to 5.5. I was like, really? Because you look at the last 2 games St. Louis played, 6-4 losses on the road. They play horribly defensively. You go back to their last home game, it was 3 games ago, and they shut out, I believe it was I want to say the Wild. I don't have it in front of me. But now You don't think Monty's going to be losing his mind saying we're home, we defend tonight against the Ducks team that's already defending? This huge move to the over because I guess of the last 6-4 games that they lost. But not only do I want Anaheim, but I want the under. And now that we're back at 6, I'm not afraid of going up against this market move. Dostal, 10-11-3, 2.73 goals against average, 9-13 save percentage, 1 shutout. Binnington, 11-15-3, 2.87 goals against average, 8.96 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Anaheim power play, 13.6%, 73.7% penalty killing. St. Louis power play, 18.1%, 73.3% penalty killing. We also, Bobano, take it away. I'm very interested in moving on. It's Hofer in net. Okay, well,
yeah.
I'll have to study that a little bit more. And I guess that's probably a good thing because Binnington's been bad. But take it away, Bobano, Ducks Blues.
Yeah, I'm leaning over. I'm waiting for the firm goalie confirmations. But if it is Hofer, I'll probably be on the over 5.5. And I actually lean St. Louis in a bounce back spot, but there's no chance I'm laying this price or taking them at this number. And I do respect the competitiveness out of Anaheim lately. Even though they lost to Calgary in overtime, prior to that, they beat Tampa, they beat Winnipeg, New Jersey, Edmonton, beating some pretty solid teams. See if that carries over here on this road trip, starting for them tonight against St. Louis. So as of now, it's a pass, though.
Well, I wanted a 6. It moved to 5.5. Shout out to our guy Rod Zawacki, re-upping his gold membership. We have, if we have it, if not, we'll do 2 races tomorrow to get into our confidence pool. Hofer confirmed on one site for Slatsy here. But I
want to use the net for Anaheim though too. That matters. Dostal and Gibson, there's a difference right now.
There is. Gibson's been playing a little better than I've expected him to play, but I agree with you. I want the Ducks and I want the under. I guess there is some concern with the bounce back spot from Monty because I think the bounce back will be defensively. I think I should just stick with the under, honestly. But it is a pretty nice price for the Ducks, a hard one to give up. And I would like to know if Terry's back. If Troy Terry strolls through, I'd be more interested here.
In Anaheim. Yeah.
More. But the under is now right in that. I'm not going to bet it right now during the show, but I'm very, very.
No, I have zero interest in taking St. Louis here. None. Zero. This is definitely at this price, it's Anaheim or pass. I kind of feel like this could be 4-0 against Ottawa all over again for St. Louis tonight. They mean business. They're off 2 losses where they gave up 6 goals. And that is still a pretty good hockey team that overall has played pretty solid hockey since Monty got there. I'd expect the Blues to bring it tonight. That's the only thing that would worry me about it, taking Anaheim.
Yeah, and Matty I saying the under correlates with what Rod is saying. And Slatsy saying Blues 7-0 last 7 versus the Ducks.
And that
I'm very comfortable with just the under. My guy Black Thor King in the house. We roll on. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Avalanche 25-15-1, 13-7-0 on the road. At the Minnesota Wild 26-11-4, 11-8-1 at home, XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. So this is the perfect storm now. You have a Minnesota Wild team rolling.
But unbelievable job by them. Salute to them for doing this without Kaprizov. Yeah.
I don't care about Kaprizov. I care about Brock Faber.
Yeah.
I care more about Brock Faber. So Brock Faber will. I hate saying these things.
Good luck. By the way, in that St. Louis game, and I was on the Blues, I was so pissed off. Like, how the fuck are they doing this? They got fucking goals from Bogosian and Middleton. 2 fucking plugs on the blue line. Good luck that happening again. If that happens again, they got a horseshoe up their keister, Minnesota.
Fade Minnesota every single game going forward. And you have... So, look, Brock Faber, everybody's going to now see how phenomenal he is. He might already be a top 5 defenseman in the NHL. You have Faber out. You have Spurgeon out. The question is, how long will Faber be out? They've already called up a defenseman, so he's not playing tonight.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 of the top 4 defensemen out of the lineup. This is my wheelhouse in NHL betting. You also have the Wild playing phenomenal hockey. Then you have the Avalanche coming off a no-show last night. So I moved before this was available offshore. I moved on 365 as soon as the game ended. As soon as, not even like 7-6-5-4, I bet it. And I thought, you know what, maybe it's going to be better offshore if I wait. But I did not wait. I'm on the Colorado Avalanche on the -1 line, and I'm telling you, fade the Wild every game moving forward. We have Mackenzie Blackwood, 2.58 goals against average, 918 save percentage, 1 shutout. I agree with the take, Bobano, of not giving him the big contract right away, but they did. Gustafsson is in a clear bounce back spot here.
Yes.
You know, he looked horrible last game. He's been phenomenal all year. So does that lead you to an under? And it does. It does lead me to an under. And one thing we've talked about for 8 years, was that when you're missing your top 2 or 2 of your top 4 defensemen, that doesn't mean you allow more goals. It means you stop pinching. It means you stop risking. It means you stay back. It means that there's actually less goals scored by you. So it actually leads to unders, not overs, when you would initially think that it would be overs. This total's at 6. It's -115 to the under. I should bet it right now. I wanted to talk it out. On the money line here, we have a line moving towards Minnesota. Look, I should have waited. It doesn't matter. This opened up with the Avs at -127. Again, I got it -140 as part of my -1 line. This got up to -134, -135, which is what I was expecting. Now it's bet back. People who don't know the importance of Brock Faber, they would be easily backing the Minnesota Wild because they're playing so well. Don't do it. Fade them. Fade them and fade them. Take it away, Bobano, Avs, Wild.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Colorado as well, -126. Even on a back-to-back, I don't mind it. Rest advantage for Minnesota. You're right. The loss of Faber is immense. You know, he has been so good for this blue line, and I'm scared, you know, if they step up and win and I get a goal from Zach Bogosian and a goal from Jacob Middleton and a goal from John Merrill, unbelievable. All 3 of those guys scored the other night against St. Louis. Then so be it, you know, and we're in trouble. But I doubt that's going to happen again. Yeah, Gustafsson didn't play well in that St. Louis game, but they did get the win still, even though he got replaced by Fleury in that game. And yeah, they're playing great. I give them all the credit, you know, with Kaprizov out. Now let's see them do it, though, with both Kaprizov and Brock Faber, their best defenseman by far, out. Now you got Colorado off a loss 3-1 against Chicago. Not a great game, although Mrazek played very well. It was one of Mrazek's best games of the season in net for Chicago. Still not going to be happy about losing that game. It was the young kid making his first NHL start, Trent Miner, in net for Colorado. They saved Blackwood for this game, and Blackwood's just been amazing. I mean, the numbers are, look, I'm still skeptical they paid him this quickly, but you can't argue with the way he's played here for the Avs. 7-1-1, 1.69 goals against average, 938 save percentage as a member of the Avalanche. He's been great. He's been absolutely terrific. I think he'll play well once again here. I think the under makes sense. They're an under team with Blackwood in net. Most of the Blackwood games that starts have gone under the total for Colorado. The only one that didn't was the Winnipeg game, 5-2, and they faced Eric Comrie that night. And then the other over recently was the game against Buffalo, which was crazy, and Blackwood didn't start that game either. So all the Blackwood games lately for Colorado have been going under. So I don't hate the under look at all, but I like Colorado here. I'm with you, -126.
You got it. Let's roll into our last game. Then we'll move into Notre Dame, Penn State, and we have 10 college basketball games that we have picked out to attack. We move on. Oh, one more thing. So keep it. Sorry, Jose, can you go back to Avalanche, Minnesota just for a second? Please, for those of you guys that lost with the Avalanche, I imagine on the puck line or the -1 line. I don't believe in the last few years that I've taken a puck line that's +100 or, you know, with VIG for a powerhouse team that hasn't lost the game previously. When you're playing against the worst team in the National Hockey League, you have to say, am I going to get accountability from this hockey team tonight? And I talked to Nutflush about it. I was like, well, I mean, I can't take the Avs in this spot, you know. Can I take the Avs in this spot against Chicago with Minnesota on deck? I mean, it just doesn't. You have to ask yourself every time you're going to take that puck line or an NBA team at -8 or 9. Am I going to get the account? Are they going to keep their foot on the gas? Do they need to win this game against a bad team? And that's why I love the Flyers against bad hockey teams. That's why I love backing a great hockey team on the puck line after they've lost against a shit hockey team. But you always have to ask yourself that on every single puck line. Am I getting accountability from this big favorite? Because if you're questioning it, don't bet it. If you're questioning it, don't bet it. Let's move on to 10 p.m. Eastern. New York Islanders 15-18-7, 8-9-5 on the road at the Vegas Golden Knights 28-9-3, 17-4-0 at home at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ilya Sorokin 12-13-4, 2.92 goals against average, 898 save percentage, 1 shutout. Aiden Hill 17-6-2, 2.58 goals against average, 904 save percentage, 2 shutouts. I get that Patrick Waugh is a motivator. You know, I understand, you know, why he's the coach here and the history that he has with Lou Lamoriello and how Lou Lamoriello, you know, knows him for years and years and years and knows the passion. But when your power play is at 11% and your penalty killing's at 64%, well, you have to be fired because you're not handling the X's and O's properly, and it's costing millions upon millions of dollars. And so, look, this is an X's and O's thing. You know, we've always questioned whether Waugh had those X's and O's. Not that, you know, he was a great motivator. We know he's a passionate hockey mind. But I still fear fading them at times. They're coming off a 5-4 win at Boston. They've had a nice break. The Vegas has won 3 straight. Vegas is rolling right now, but they seem to throw up duds once in a while at home. I was surprised that I didn't just want them on the -1 line, and I didn't just want them on the -1 line. Shout out to Mel in the house. She's on Mackenzie Blackwood under 25.5 saves. If there's one thing you can generally count on the Avs in this situation, it's a responsible game, and the Wild won't generate a ton. That's a great look. That's a great look. Christopher Tatum says they're a good look on a prop in this game. I'm going to follow in the Avalanche game. Maybe Mel's nailed it. And Boban, other cappers focus. I focus on the whole package. It works for me. I would have to study it in a different way here. Nice job, DC. 10 to 1.5 in 1 week. DC, you're a monster. Okay, let's get into the line history here. I can't understand exactly why the Islanders' power play is being so horrific. It doesn't make sense. You know, they're healthy now. Barzal's back. I don't know why their penalty killing is so bad. They got Pelican Pullock back there. You got Horvat winning faceoffs. You have guys who play defensive, accountable hockey. I don't get it. And then you have Vegas, who looks like, again, they're just a really strong hockey team. Now I want Nicholas Roy in the lineup every chance I can get when I'm backing this team. But here we go, Bobano. Is this the right price? It probably is, but it's fishy. It's not moving towards the Avs. I mean, it's moving slightly. This opened up at -165, got up to -177, got up to -182, and then it came all the way back to -164. Right now, there's been a 5-cent move towards the Golden Knights. And then on the total here, we have a 6. It's -108 to the over. It opened -110 to the over. I've left this off. I can't really explain why I'm not fading the Islanders here. Maybe I should. Take it away. And then JPG says Avs always struggle without Big Val. Lush really has an impact. Yeah, he's incredible on the power play. But taking away Bobano, Islanders Knights.
Yeah, I'm passing on this game. There's just not a lot of value. I don't want the Islanders. It's Vegas or pass. They're rolling. They're playing great hockey. They did have a couple duds. The Montreal game they lost at home a few weeks ago, and then there was that Utah game a while back where they got bombed 6-0. But they really haven't had that many duds. You know, they've been pretty consistent. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. I just don't want to go against that with a team like the Islanders. But again, -180. You know, you're playing the Islanders. You're playing better competition, or you know, there's bigger games on the horizon for Vegas, Minnesota, Rangers, and etc. You know, it's not exactly a spot where I'm rushing to take Vegas at a, you know, big favorite price like this. So yeah, easy stay off for me.
Are we leaving money on the table? I know we got to move on. I want to move on, but I mean, the Islanders have been off since Sunday. It's a long time to be off in Vegas. Not that they were in Vegas the whole time. I mean, are we leaving money on the table, not just fading the Islanders again? I think that they're playing worse than the sum of their parts. They've won 8 of 22 games on the road in regulation. Should we just take the Vegas Knights to to beat. I mean, could the Vegas Knights beat them 6-0 and Patrick Waugh get fired tomorrow?
I don't know if Patrick Waugh's getting fired, but they could lose 6-0.
Why am I not fading the Islanders here?
I just don't love the price or the spot enough for Vegas. I am worried because you just rolled San Jose 42-21 in shots. Do you have that? If you can guarantee me Vegas is ready to play hockey and at their best tonight and playing like they have the last 10 games, yeah, then I would definitely take Vegas. But I've got that weird hunch it's going to be a grind of a game for Vegas. But I certainly don't want to bet the Islanders.
I do too, but it's a hunch.
Yeah.
Like I'm not basing it on anything. I mean, do we think that Bruins game, they scored 5 goals, win in overtime? They'd scored 4 goals in their previous 3 games. Do you think that maybe? Do you think it's too long in Vegas?
Actually, you know what? I'll tell you this right now: the Islanders have not been the kings of stringing wins together lately, either. You have to go all the way back to December 7 and 8, the last time they won 2 in a row. They beat Chicago. They lost to Chicago the next game. They beat Toronto. They lost to Buffalo the next game. They beat Pittsburgh. They lost to Pittsburgh in the next game. So they have not won 2 in a row and put 2 wins together in a very, very long time.
I am concerned that that I'm leaving money on the table. I might end up on Vegas -1. I've got the same hunch as Bobano, but what the hell is a hunch? I mean, like I don't have any basis on it. Razor saying Islanders 3-12 straight up in the last 15 games against an opponent in the Pacific Division. A Deacon Mike in the house. No dirt nap for Deacon, back in business with us. All right, let's review all action in NHL. There's our guy Ron Crawford joining us. I'm going to take a closer look at the over in Buffalo, Ottawa. Bobano's on it. He's on the first period over 1.5 and the full game over 5.5. Bobano's on the Lightning -158, the over 1.5 and the over 5.5. I'm on the Lightning on the -1 line. I got +102. I bet the Devils -1 during the show. It was my plan all along. When I learned yesterday that Shesty could be in, I said, wait till Shesty's announced, watch the bump, then fade that bump. So I'm on the Devils -1. I got +100, -153 each way. This opened up -180. Bobano on the Devils team total over. Bobano on the team total over 3.5 +105, and Hughes to score a goal. Bobano on the draw, Stars Flyers at +336. I'm off of that spot. The Smith will be in net. Bobano on the Oilers team total over 3.5 -124. I'm on the Oilers -1. I'm on the Kraken at -108. Bobano is on the over 1.5 and the over 6. I wonder if I get to the Hurricanes. I don't know if I do. I'm pretty comfortable with the under 6 at -120. I think I probably end up moving on this under in Anaheim, St. Louis. I think that Monty's going to demand accountability after allowing 6 goals in back-to-back road games. They shut out their opponent in their last home game. And I want to know if Terry's in, whether or not I move on the Ducks. That's going to take some more time. Avalanche, Minnesota, I'm on the Avs -1. Do I also add the under? I'm hesitant to get in the way of what I think is arguably the best spot on the entire board. I don't want to mess with the profit, but I do think the under is probably the right play. And even Mel's thoughts with the under 25.5 saves on Mackenzie Blackwood, I think that also follows through with the under. So I probably and then I think I add Vegas -1. Why would I not be on it? And Mel saying the same thing on the under 6. And we have a sign up for the confidence pool. Shout out to our guy, Rob McMahon. Thank you, Rob. We need signups. We have to have more than we did last year so that we can do it again next year. This is our second annual confidence pool. Just $50 to enter. $50 to enter. Top 10% get paid. $3 for fees. So 47 goes into the prize pool. So please sign up. Thank you, Rob McMahon. That means a ton to us. We have action in here from Ron Crawford, and it is Vegas puck line for Ron. That makes sense to me. I mean, the Vegas special teams, you need to have your special teams ready to go if you're going to face this squad. Thank you for sharing that all with us, Ron. We will play our spreadsheet play date cut when we get into your NBA action here. Great to see all of you guys. Just 50 smackaroos, Kent, because it's $100 for the Cappers contest, and this is not as so we cut the price in half for this one. So please join us. And Kent Davies booked San Antonio flights and hotel yesterday. Kent, we only got Kent for one night last year. On Wednesday night, it was magic. I don't know Kong, but we'll start talking about how many we have tomorrow. Let's give it some more time. I don't know how many we have right now, but please sign up. Sign up. All right, we go into college football here, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the college football playoff semifinal. Bobano will be back here shortly to rock with us on this one. The number 7th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 13-1. Number 6th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, 13-2. We have Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida, 60 Fahrenheit, clear 9 miles per hour. And Razor booked his trip as well. Saturated says, I'm only coming to San Antonio if Ron Crawford is performing. Okay, I will work on that, Saturated. I will work on that. We would have had him last year, have the band performing, but it's tricky because you got to get the whole band in. It's if it's just Ron Crawford alone performing, that we can make happen. All right, let's get into this one. We got a fun one on our hands. Let's roll this one up. Here we go. On the spread right now, we may be better off on the money line, and we will, but we'll talk about what the spread has done. Penn State +1 at -110. They opened +1.5 at -104. They got up to +2.5 on Tuesday, and now it's a +1 at -110. So a slight move towards the Nittany Lions. Let's take a look at the total here for this one. On the total, we now have a 45 across the board. This opened up at 46. It moved to 45 on Monday. Moved to 45. It was juiced to the under. And then it got back up to 45.5. It was at 45.5 until 6 minutes ago. 6 minutes ago, they moved it back to 45. I don't see any other 45.5s on the board. So they were the lone offshore hanging that 45.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. I have not been using it. Still got the NBA up, so we don't use it for NHL. Let's take a look at the money here for this one. On a money perspective, on the spread, 37% of the tickets, 38% of cash on Penn State. On the money line, 39% of tickets and 34% of cash on Penn State. And on the total, 37% of tickets and 47% cash on the under. All right, Billy Friedrich loving the first half under 23.5. I am interested in getting involved on the under, but I do want to hear from Bobano and from you guys in the chat. BJ is on Penn State here. Robert Franklin is on Penn State money line. We copy and paste these spots here. And then we've already heard from Wine Time and others about their thoughts and their action on this game. Let's go back to it. Penn State +1.5 in the under, 46 for Wine Time. Nasty Nate on Notre Dame, and Kong's Clips with 4 units on Notre Dame. Johnny K's on that first half under, and DC Capper on the under 45. So let's set this one up for Bobano. So these two teams, 9-1 in their series history. Been a long time since we've seen these teams play. Of course, when you talk about these two teams, you go right to their defense. Notre Dame, number 2 nationally in scoring defense, 13.6 points per game they allow. Number 5 in passing yards allowed, number 8 in total yards allowed. And Penn State, number 7 in the country in points allowed, number 8 in rushing yards allowed, and number 6 in total yards allowed. And to touch on that again, Penn State held Ashton Genty to 3.5 yards per carry. A very, very impressive defensive performance. Penn State has weapons all over the field. We know Drew Allar, who is expected to be playing on Sundays, for the next 15 years. He's got weapons. We'll start with Tyler Warren at tight end. Monster, 6'6", 260. It's very, very difficult defending him. We'll see him on Sundays. Then you have running backs in Singleton and Allen. Nick Singleton, very talented, also as a receiver. Both went over 1,000 yards. We know that the Nittany Lions are on a roll. They have been on a roll since they lost in the Big Ten final to Oregon. They destroy SMU 38-10. They destroy Boise State 31-14. Who have they lost to? They lost to Oregon and Ohio State. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. James Franklin has this team rolling. Now, Abdul Carter is dealing with an arm injury. He's going to play. He says he's going to play, but he's not 100%. This is an important defensive end dealing with an arm injury. We know how important that, an arm is. 11 sacks this year for Abdul. Notre Dame coming in off that 27-17 win over Indiana and the 23-10 win over Georgia. Look, I find Penn State's wins more impressive. Riley Leonard threw for 90 yards in the Sugar Bowl. Now, I know he ran for 80 and Kong and Nutflesh were on his rushing yard prop over and got paid. Look, Marcus Freeman's being spectacular. What's there to say? If DJ Big Boss isn't watching, this team wins. If DJ Big Boss is there, you'll lose to Northern Illinois. DJ Big Boss will not be watching this game, but we do pray for DJ Big Boss and every capper in LA right now dealing with the fires. So here we go. Bobano, why wouldn't we be on unders? And I'm starting to lean towards backing the Nittany Lions full game on this one. Take it away, Bobano. I cannot wait to hear your plan. Fighting Irish, Nittany Lions, Hard Rock Stadium, college football playoff semifinal.
Yeah, it's a game where I think there's a good amount of split opinion. I mean, from people I've talked to, there's a lot that like Notre Dame. There's a lot that like Penn State in this game. I think when you look at Penn State, you have to look at the two games they've played and say that they've played pretty good football. Some of their better performances of the season, absolutely. The loss against Oregon, I think, in the Big Ten championship game, I think was impressive in defeat, if you can say that. No question. But at the end of the day, the Oregon game was a defeat for Penn State. And when I look at this situation here with James Franklin, I can't get over his ineptitude in these games against the best teams. I can't get over it. He doesn't win these games against the absolute best teams. And I don't consider SMU one of the best teams. I don't consider Boise State one of the best teams. I think they've had a little bit of a cupcake easier path to get to this point. And if you go back to the SMU game, if Kevin Jennings doesn't screw up on fourth down, if he doesn't have multiple pick sixes in that game, SMU was moving the football before that. And then it got away completely from SMU as it would any team when they throw multiple pick sixes. And then, of course, you had the Boise State game. Right down the field, Boise State on their first drive. Why Spencer Danielson didn't go for it on 4th and 2, I'll never know. But he settles for a field goal with a shaky field goal kicker, and he misses it. And then all of a sudden, momentum gone from Boise State. Penn State seizes that. And the rest is history there. So early in the game, SMU and Boise State have a chance to take early leads and put pressure on Penn State, and they fail, and they screw up their opportunity to do so. If Notre Dame can get out front, and the thing that I like and why I think there's going to be pressure on Penn State is that Notre Dame's been a great first-half team this year. Penn State's been a bad first-half team. Look at the point differential for both teams in the first half. Big advantage there for Notre Dame. They've come out better to start games throughout the course of the season. And obviously they had the great start against both Indiana and Georgia in their two victories. In the trenches, I've been impressed with Notre Dame because all I heard was them being undersized against Georgia and that they were going to wilt under the size in that great Georgia offensive line. But they didn't. And what I also like is the way Al Golden schemes this defense. Very Brian Flores-like in the characteristics. He brings pressure. He brings pass rush, exotic blitzes. Quarterback usually doesn't know where it's coming from. And when I look at Drew Aller, he is still a guy that can make some mistakes. And it wouldn't shock me to see him throw an interception against pressure here in this game tonight against Notre Dame. Now, there are concerns. How healthy is Jeremiah Love? We'll have to wait and see tonight, but he is playing. You know, Riley Leonard's going to have to run the football effectively. Can he do that? That's the big question. The one thing I like about Notre Dame is their secondary is one of the strengths. I don't expect the Penn State receivers to do much. They don't scare me. You know, the guy you got to worry about is the great NFL-bound tight end Tyler Warren. And if you can somehow take him away from making a huge impact, you're going to see, I think, Notre Dame be able to contain the passing game. At the end of the day, the stat that I come circling back around, maybe Penn State's ready to mature, and maybe James Franklin's ready to figure it out in a game of this magnitude against a great opponent like Notre Dame. But he hasn't figured it out yet. And the record, clear as day, bears that out with Penn State as an underdog under this coach. We're not just talking bad. We're talking about all-time bad for for James Franklin in games where he's punching above his weight class and being asked to beat a team that's as good or better than his team. 1-16, straight up. That is the record for Penn State as an underdog under this coach. 1-16. That one win was against Wisconsin a few years ago. And I think we can argue Wisconsin hasn't been a great team the last few years. It's a solid win, but that's not beating one of the absolute best teams in college football. That's the one win as an underdog that James Franklin has in his tenure as head coach at Penn State. He has not been stepping up and beating better teams, and I don't trust him to do that here tonight. I like what I'm seeing from Notre Dame in the trenches here. I love the way they played against a very physical, tough Georgia team, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call here for Penn State. I think it'll be a close game. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of an underlook. It's going to be run heavy on both sides. Both teams play slow. Both teams in the red zone have been pretty solid as well on the defensive side of things. So I could definitely see this being a lower scoring game. But again, 1-16 for Penn State as an underdog under James Franklin, which team means he doesn't beat the best teams. He doesn't beat the good teams. I've got to see it from tonight before I believe it. Notre Dame -110 for me.
Notre Dame for Bobano. Troy Torrance says he doesn't know if he's ever been more impressed with defensive talent and scheme in college football than he has with Notre Dame.
Al Golden's done a hell of a job. Really, really good job with that defense. Outstanding.
Well, I think
put some props on because there's only one game. I'm going to add some props as well, Jimmy, for this. Riley Leonard over 11.5 rush attempts. I think it's actually one of the absolute best props in this entire game. It makes a lot of sense. I think he's going to be running a lot, especially with Love, compromised a little bit with the injury. So over 11.5, -134 for his rush attempts. I like that quite a bit. Let me just pull up the prop list because I think the props are worth putting on the card here. There's some good ones. Riley Leonard over 44.5 rushing yards, -130. That is one I like. That was at the score bet.
Sorry, can you give me that one again?
Riley Leonard over 44.5 rushing yards, -130. And then from a receiver standpoint for Notre Dame in this game, I'll add two more actually. Jordan Faison over 39.5 receiving yards, -120. He has become Riley Leonard's favorite target. You saw it in the Georgia game. The last two playoff games, Riley Leonard has clearly gained some rapport and chemistry with Jordan Faison in the passing game. I thought 39.5 was very low for his receiving yards, so I think that's a good one. And one more prop I bet, and I mentioned how I think the Al Golden pressure schemes could really, cause some problems for Aller. I took Drew Aller to throw an interception tonight at -110. So there you go. A few props for this game.
Drew Aller to throw an interception. And what was that, -115?
-110.
-110 there, Aller interception. What do you, there's going to be excellent defense in this game. Great red zone defense. Did the field goals interest you at all in this one? Did you think about it at all, moving on the field goals? There's some cappers in the chat talking about the field goal props. Did that interest you at all?
That's not bad. I like Mitch Jeter. The kicker for Notre Dame's been pretty good, especially last week against Georgia. Clutch kicks, big kicks. They were longer kicks, some of them in the 30, 40-yard vicinity, which for college kickers is no gimme that they're going to make those. Certainly Mitch Jeter's been a good kicker for Notre Dame. Penn State kicker's been a little bit more up and down, but it definitely feels like a game where you could see a lot of field goal attempts. Question is, will you get those field goals made? But I think it makes sense maybe to look for field goal props tonight in this game. Not so much the next game.
You could create tomorrow. A 2. You could get a 2 at plus money.
Yep.
That might be the way to do it. Because they're offering the over 1.5 at -170, but over 2.5 at plus 175. There is our guy, DJ Big Boss.
And I'm not with you tomorrow, Jimmy, but I'm going to tack on over 52 -125 for the Ohio State-Texas game tomorrow. I do want to make that an official play, even though I'm not on the show tomorrow. Actually at -120. It's actually the price has shifted a little bit. Over 52 -120. That is my best bet for the Ohio State-Texas game. Notre Dame money line is my best bet for this game tonight. but over 52 minus 120 for Ohio State, Texas, my favorite bet for that game tomorrow. I don't see Texas shutting down this now vertical passing explosiveness that Ohio State now has, but Texas can hit on some big plays as well. And I think for Ohio State, can the defensive front get after Ewers like they did Gabriel? And the one thing I think that sets up Texas for success, I don't like this side-to-side, sideline-to-sideline bullshit out of Oregon, quite honestly. The little bubble screens, the little plays that they try to run sideline to sideline. It's going to be more vertical north-south for Texas, a different style of offense that Ohio State's going to have to defend. And I don't think they're nearly as good against that kind of. So I could see Texas scoring a little bit here as well. Matthew Golden won't be easy. He's there. Jeremiah Smith, and he's played well in these playoffs. I like Ohio State in the game because I got a good number early with Ohio State, but I don't want to recommend it now at -6. It's moved quite a bit. But I like over 52. I think that's the best bet right now at the current numbers.
You are locked in. You are locked in. We have our guy, Troy Torrance, saying, can we just talk about football all day? And the reason why we can't is take a look at what Bobano and I have been doing in college basketball. Let's move on right
I only
there.
had a bad week and yet still very good for the season, yeah.
ROI for Bobano plus 10.41%. My ROI plus 15.12%. We're making money. Let's keep making money and let's roll. We picked out 10 games. We have 24 minutes. We've got to work quickly here. And shout out to Saturated. Our guy Saturated has just signed up for the confidence pool. Thank you, Saturated. Please sign up. Please sign up. We need people to sign up. $50. Remember the confidence pool, 13 games in the NFL playoffs. You have 13 slots. Your 13 is worth 13 points. It's your most confident spot. If you cash that, you get 13 points. If you cash the one, you get 1 point. You can only use one slot once. Thank you so much to you, Saturated, for rolling with us. And Who Bangin' says, I only have 2 tips for you. Notre Dame defense waits a series or 2 before they dial in. And number 2, the offense is unpredictable. They digest the defense and find their spots. Okay, Who Banging. All right, let's get to work here, Bobano. We move over to college basketball, and we start at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern. We start for you with UNC Greensboro, Chattanooga. UNC Greensboro Spartans, Chattanooga Mocs. UNC Greensboro has won 3 straight. Both teams are coming off games on Saturday. UNC Greensboro won 84-67 over Furman. They were just 1.5-point favorites, and they played phenomenal. 57.4 from the field, 52.2 from 3. And now they hit the road. Now, they just had played on the road on New Year's Day. They beat Wofford 68-60. They beat Wofford in this one. They also played a road game earlier against Elon. That was on the 21st of December before Christmas break. They lost that one 73-69, and they were 1.5-point road favorites there. So they've played on the road often, but they're coming off a simply spectacular shooting game. Chattanooga snapped their 2-game losing streak with a win at Citadel, 81-68. Look, we know Citadel's bad. Chattanooga is 12.5-point favorites. They only covered by a 0.5 point. They played well. They played clean basketball. But now they get to come on home. Come on home. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Here we go. And let's roll. Okay, line history-wise, let's get this. Sorry, I didn't have this set up. Let's roll. We have UNC Greensboro plus 3.5. minus 109. They opened up a +4. So we have a 0.5-point move towards UNC Greensboro. 0.5-point move towards them. From a total perspective here, we have a 143 juice to the under. Excuse me. So we've had 6 cents of movement towards the under. And then when we get to the cash flow, for the spot, we have 28% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on Chattanooga. But there has been a 0.5-point move towards Greensboro. 75% of tickets, 75% cash on the over. Take it away for us, Bobano. Game 1 for college basketball. We're at McKenzie Arena in Chattanooga. The Spartans of UNC Greensboro, 9-6, 2-0 in the SoCon. The Mocs, 9-6, 1-1 in the SoCon. Take it away, my man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, with this one, should be it's a good game. It's two of the better teams in this conference. The SoCon, looking forward to it. Chattanooga 9-6, Greensboro 9-6. Greensboro's won 3 in a row, 2 wins in a row in the conference. Wofford and Furman, pretty solid wins. I do worry about the spot now going on the road. Big win against a very good Furman team. Chattanooga has got a very strong home court. They're 6-1 this season. I think from a spot perspective, definitely reasons to like Chattanooga here in this spot, and I'm taking them. -2.5, -115 is the best price out there right now. We'll lock that in. Less than the 3 to get less than 3. Laying it with the mocks, I think, is important. I think a key thing to watch for here in this game is you look at the Spartans. They're a 3-point shooting team. They're very good from the perimeter. There's no question about that. I think Chattanooga is going to keep them out of the paint, force them to make threes. Difficult to do that consistently on the road. Coming off a big win against Furman, one of the best teams in the conference at home. Now you're going on the road here to face a very good Chattanooga team on a strong home court. I think it's the spot and the matchups pointing to Chattanooga, the mocks, and I like them here as a small home favorite.
I get it. I would kind of wanted to see a sign from the market, but the public is on the other side, so maybe that explains why there's no sign. I can get past it. Bobano on Chattanooga -2.5. Rod Swag says bet on UNC Greensboro on the first half versus teams who average 6 or less steals a game on the season after 15 plus games. Greensboro record on the first half line since 2024 8-0. Shout out to Billy Friedrich. He is now in the confidence pool. Thank you, Billy. God, it's going to be fun. We need more signups. Thank you guys so much for signing up. The more people who sign up, the more we will be able to rock more pools, and we'll be able to do this again next year. Also, MMA Locker Room, our guy Mills has a huge interview dropping. I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern that it premieres on Pub Sports Radio, a huge interview that we're very excited about. So please support our guy MMA Locker Room. All right, let's roll. That is Chattanooga -2.5 for Bobano. Now we move on to Oregon, Ohio State. Now, Dabby Cab's been trying to get internet, and he now has internet, so he's going to be able to join us for these 2 next games, Oregon, Ohio State, and Purdue, Rutgers. So please welcome the star of the starting 5, our friend, and Medicaid Mondays, of course, our friend Dabby Cab to the show. Dabby, how are you?
Jimmy.
There he is.
Everybody in the chat, man. Good to be here. Hope everybody's staying safe, whether it's fires or snowstorms. The world's going crazy, but, we still got betting with the bag and sports to bet on, so it's a good day.
It is good, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in LA, all our LA Cappers. We have so many great LA Cappers that we're so close with, so thinking about you guys. Let's talk about this one. These Ducks 2-2 in the Big Ten, and the Buckeyes 2-2 in the Big Ten. We're in Columbus, Ohio for this one. Both teams had to bounce back off of losses. Oregon did that, 83-79 versus Maryland. And last week, although Bobano had his first tough week on our show, we did cash on Washington, both of us on Washington, fading Maryland here. Now, Oregon beat them 83-79. Oregon was 4.5-point favorites, so they didn't cover. They shot the ball well, 51.8 from the field and 42.9 from 3. Going back to the mock spot, I do think I'll join you because of how well UNC Greensboro just shot in that last game and now moving on the road. I do think I'll join you, but I do want a little bit more time with it. Then we have Ohio State. They lose 69-62 at home to Michigan State, and then they head over to Minnesota. Now, Minnesota was one of our losses last Thursday for Bobano and I. They won in double overtime, and they won in double overtime as 4.5-point favorites, so they didn't cover. They also shot poorly, 42.9 from the field and 27.3 from 3. Let's get into the line history here for game 2 of our 10-game college basketball slate. This totals at 149.5. It is juiced to the under. This opened up at 151, so we've dropped 1.5 on the total. And then on the spread, we have Oregon +3 at -111. They opened up exactly there. But there was a move towards Ohio State. This was a 4.5 for a while, and now we've come all the way back to 3. So we've got no movement at all on the spread. We take a look at the cash flow for this big one. We have just 20% of the tickets and 19% of the cash on the under, and yet it's dropped 1.5 points. Then we have 51% of the tickets and 73% of the cash on the Buckeyes. Here we go, Dabby Cab. Take it away, my man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, if you look at numbers, just statistically, these teams are, they're pretty close. And depending on, I know you got, Oregon sitting at 15th, but if you look at, other rankings, whether, you want to look at KenPom or something, they got Oregon at 27th, and I think Ohio State's 31st. I don't have it in front of me. I just lost it. But I'm pretty sure they're 31st or something. So very, very, very similar as far as what, people see out of them. Oregon, they impressed me with that win versus Maryland. I'm not going to lie, because Maryland has an extremely good defensive team. And what I know that wins and losses are not transitional, especially in college basketball with, home court advantage and traveling and all that. But when I look at Ohio State, I think of them, as maybe a little bit more defensive team than offensive here. And Oregon's the exact opposite. I give their offense the edge. So I think Maryland, was a good test for Oregon to show what they can do against a good defense, which is what they're going to have here in Ohio State. I think they keep this game close, honestly. I got +2 in the first half. This is an Oregon team too, Jimmy, that, you got some of these players back like Shellstead, that if you remember, last year in March, I was very high on them. I was betting them a lot, when we were in San Antonio. I made some good money off of them, and they're a team that I expect to continue to play well this season. Oregon's not a team that I would want to go against if I was anybody. And this is a good spot. Both teams got 1 loss, 1 win in conference. I think they're ready to play. I don't think there's any reason why, it's a letdown. And I'd be remiss if I didn't at least touch on the fact that Ohio State plays a very big football game tomorrow, right? Everybody notices that. I don't know how that affects this crowd or this game at all. That's why I don't really like to bring it up. But I see people in the chat saying it. Maybe people's minds are elsewhere. But I think the Ducks, they're glued on tight here. I took them first half +2. So that's where I'm at.
Oregon first half +2 for Dabby Cab. Bobano, take it away. Columbus, Ohio State hosting the Oregon Ducks.
So Oregon's become a pretty easy team for me to figure out. I don't like laying points with them at home, and we saw it obviously last week. They were just barely beat Maryland, and they lost to Illinois. And you don't like taking them always at home, but you get Dana Altman and that team, and this has been this way for years. Look at how great they were in neutral court games last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You get them on the road, you get them in the underdog role, you get them on a neutral court. You just get them outside of Eugene, and they're catching points. That's usually when you want to be betting on Oregon. And if you actually look at it, you think, well, I'm reluctant to bet against or bet on teams rather that are going west to east in Big Ten play or east to west in Big Ten play. We're seeing it. These are tough travel spots. These are unique new situations, and teams maybe not great to deal with them right away. But if you actually look at how this sets up for both of these teams, Oregon, they haven't played since Sunday. They've had a little time to get acclimated and make the trip out to Columbus. Meanwhile, you got Ohio State's coming off that double overtime barn burner Monday night against Minnesota. A lot of minutes on the floor in that game. They've played. That was a very intense, physical basketball game. Had to expend a lot of energy in that game. And like Cabby was saying, I think Ohio State too. They're good defensively. They can go into droughts offensively, and they're not infallible at home. That's not the best home court environment. You saw them lose already to Pitt at home this year. Michigan State went into Columbus and beat them just recently as well. I like this Oregon team offensively. You're right. Defense, they've got to work on some things. There's no question. But the idea of getting Oregon here +3.5 in this game, I thought was a good bet here. I think it's going to be down to the wire, and I think Oregon's got a chance to win outright. So Oregon +3.5, -115 at BetMGM for me in this game. Another thing to factor in too is what's that environment going to be in the building tonight? Because you got the Ohio State football team. That's where the focus is right now. Just how, jazzed up is that home crowd environment going to be for Ohio State? I'd have some concerns about that tonight.
Locked in. Bobano on Oregon +3.5. Dabby Cab on Oregon first half +2. I don't feel enough of an edge at this point myself. So nothing for me at this point. Let's roll on. 6 p.m. Eastern. The number 20 ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Love these 6 p.m. starts. Love that we already talked about a 5 p.m. start. Purdue Boilermakers 11-4, 3-1 in the Big Ten. At the Rutgers Scarlet Knights 8-7, 1-3 in the Big Ten. Jersey's Mike Arena, Piscataway, New Jersey. Good God, Morgan Spooner getting us on fading Rutgers every road game has been just glorious. So thank you, Morgan, for that glory. We faded them 2 weeks ago here on the show when they were in Indiana. They came back in what some thought was going to be a bounce back spot at home versus Wisconsin and lost again 75-63. Now they've been home for a little bit. They lost.
Yeah. They didn't think it was a bounce back spot if they tuned into Medicate Monday because, the wake up and get money play of the day was Wisconsin first half. So anyways, sorry, just keep going.
No, that's great. Beautiful work here. Purdue on the other side has won 3 straight. They're coming off beating up on Northwestern 71-69. They dominated. They were up 41-18 at the half in that one. So Purdue playing very good basketball. Rutgers playing questionable basketball. They've lost 3 of 4. They've lost 2 of their last 3 home games. You have to only Columbia, who's much better this year, did they beat. They lose to Princeton 83-82. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Purdue right now -2 at -109. They opened up -1.5. We have a half-point move towards Purdue, just a half-point move from a total perspective here. Oh, and also shout out to Razor Sharp Picks, who is now in our confidence pool. We're rolling. Please sign up, $50 to compete in the confidence pool. Thank you for signing up. We have a total at 147.5 -111 to the under. This opened up at 149, so we have a 1.5 drop towards the under. And when we get to the cash flow here, we have 27% of the tickets and 49% of the cash on Rutgers. Interesting. Public on Purdue. Why wouldn't they be? 68% tickets, 68% cash on the over. This time we'll start with you, Bobano. Take it away. Boilermakers, Scarlet Knights in New Jersey.
I don't know. I usually am always, that's almost an automatic when I'm going to bet Rutgers as a home underdog in that building. But boy, oh boy, I don't like what I see. And I like Wisconsin. They're playing well. You shouldn't be getting run out like that in that first half by Wisconsin like that. So I do have some concerns here. I badly want to take Rutgers here. I do. Because Purdue, we've seen them, spit up some games on the road already this year. I don't trust this Boilermakers team fully on the road. I'm just a little gun shy after what I've seen here from Rutgers, a couple of these recent games. They're still a very young team, too, this year compared to years past, and they haven't exactly assimilated themselves quite well. Meanwhile, you look at Purdue. They're coming off, obviously, back-to-back blowout wins by double digits against Minnesota and Northwestern in Big Ten play. But again, Minnesota's not a very good team. And they also had some games there, Auburn, Penn State away from home, where they didn't play well, Purdue. So I think if Rutgers plays their A game, they can win this game. But are we going to see that from Rutgers is the question. It's a lean to Rutgers, but I'm a little hesitant. I'm off the game.
I'm interested. Barry Smith on Rutgers, Morgan Spooner on Rutgers plus 2 says this whole team plays better at home, but the freshmen in particular play with a lot more confidence. This building loves this team. Purdue on the road isn't what you think. And then if that's the case, would we not prefer Rutgers just first half, expecting them to roll off the bat, play much better, and then...
I got your bet, bro. I mean,
that might be
you're not going to tail me on it, but I got your bet for the game, Jimmy, when it's time.
Take it away, my man.
All right. So... we talked about these freshmen for Rutgers, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper on Monday. Also, when we broke this game down, these guys are going to go high in the draft. They're very, very talented players, and I mean, we've seen in some of the games that Rutgers has lost, Bailey almost put up 40 points. Still, I mean, these kids can absolutely ball. And Dylan Harper was sick against Wisconsin. He only played 15 minutes. That whole game, only took 2 shots, played 15 minutes. And he's somebody that you're getting, 32 to 39 minutes out of every game. So obviously he still wasn't feeling well. And he should be better here in this game. From everything I've read, everything I've seen, he should be better. He should be at, full health. So I took his 3 prop over 1.5 threes. It's only -120. And I'm going to tell you right now, I put a much bigger bet on this than my first bet that I gave you guys. I know on this show, everything's 1 unit, so it is what it is. Man, I love this bet. Whether it cashes or not, I found these 3 props in college to be extremely profitable. If you just want to look into Dylan Harper's numbers, right? Out of his 9 games, he's covered this, or last 9 games, he's covered this 6 times. And that's including Wisconsin, where he played 15 minutes and took, 2 shots, 1 3. So let's go ahead and take that one out because that you don't want to hold that against him when he's sick. So he's 6-2 the last 8 games covering this prop, Jimmy. And Bobano, in the one of the 2 times he didn't cover it, he went 1 for 6. So you're telling me we're going to get the opportunity, we're going to get the shots. Minus 120 for over 1.5 threes for Dylan Harper. That's my best bet on the board today.
Locked in. Harper over 1.5 threes at minus 120. I'm going to end up on Rutgers. I've just got to decide if it's first half or full game, and I prefer not to double up. If you see me double up, know that will be 200 a pop and not 300 each. I'll cut a third off of the bet if I do double up, which I may. I'll need a little bit more time to figure this one out. Harper over 1.5 threes at minus 120. Bobano, you are off of Purdue Rutgers?
Yes, I'm with you on Rutgers. I lean that way, but I'm going to stay off.
I hear you. Bobano, Dabby Cab also on Oregon first half +2 at minus 110. And Dabby Cab will be back to rock with me again tomorrow with best bets. Dabby Cab, thank you for rocking with us. We have a huge Saturday. Saturday, we have the starting 5 that rolls right into NFL Pub Hub. NFL Pub Hub is at 12 p.m. right after All About the Hoops, the starting 5. So we have 2 back-to-back shows, then lead into our first UFC live event of the year. So we have a monstrous day on Pub Sports Radio on Saturday. My man, Dabby Cap, thank you for rocking with us. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Oh, man, they're ready to hear more action. They want more Bobano, and he's on time limit. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you, Jimmy.
Good to see you, Dabby Cap. Good to see you.
Love you guys.
Respect. There he is, Dabby Cab. Okay, we got to work real quickly. Can we keep you for 5 extra minutes?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
yeah, we'll go quick, though. Yeah.
Okay, Charleston Cougars Hofstra Pride is our next spot. Head to the CAA, the Coastal Athletic Association, for this one. We have Charleston in the throes of 4 straight victories, playing good basketball. They have all been coming at home, though, and here they travel on the road. At home, though, 4 straight wins. They just came off beating Towson. They were 6.5-point favorites. They won by 8. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but they were in control from the start of the game to the finish of the game, just rolling. Hofstra snapped their 3-game losing streak with as ugly a basketball game as you will ever see. They beat Northeastern 55-37. Northeastern shot 21.3% from the field and 12% from 3. Hofstra was 2.5-point dogs in that one. Just an ugly basketball game, but it did snap their 3-game losing streak. Let's get into the line history here for this one. From a total perspective, we have here we go. We have this at 139.5. It's minus 114 to the over. It opened up at 138.5. We have a 1-point move towards the over. And on the side, we have Hofstra right now at a pick'em or +1. We have +1 at minus 115 here. They opened up at +1 at minus 114. They became 1.5-point favorites, and then it came back. So it's exactly where we left off. When we get to the cash flow for this one, sorry, I didn't have it already set up. Quickly to the cash. We have 28% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on Hofstra. Feels like sharp action. 83 and 83 on the over. Bobano, take it away, my man.
Yeah, this is I think a good little spot for Hofstra at home. Here in this one, they're winning home record. Charleston, look, they're playing well. 8-1 in their last 9 games. The only loss was against Oregon State. They had a nice win against Towson, 77-69. Towson's a pretty solid team. See how they fare here going on the road against this Hofstra Pride team. Hofstra, they've kind of had some bumps in the road, ups and downs throughout the course of the season. They were struggling a bit there. They lost to Temple Quinnipiac, lost to William and Mary, but to bounce back on the road, and a lot of positive quotes saying we needed a game like that, beating a Northeastern. We'll see how this one plays out. But like I said, I think this is a nice little situation here for Hofstra, returning home, back with some confidence again, going into this matchup here against Charleston. Charleston, a very solid team. I actually think this total is low as well. So this is a side and a total for me both in this game. Hofstra minus 106. Money line, and also over 139.5 minus 110. This is the lowest total in this series in a very long time. I think it's a little bit too low. And with Charleston, you're going to see them push pace, and they've had 3 straight games go over the total.
Well, I'm going to join you on Hofstra here. I just want to go over the action from Cabbies in our chat. So
Speedy or somebody, Speedy Claxton, yeah, great name. Head coach
Rod Zawacki also with the Claxton look here. Hofstra 7-0 when Hofstra when playing its top level team. But Morgan Spooner on Charleston money line. So I will take some extra time to focus on this game, but the market really indicating that Hofstra is the spot. We have a side and total for Bobano. We roll right on. We have our next big one here. 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the Washington Huskies, 10-5, 1-3 in the Big Ten, have the number 16th ranked Michigan State Spartans, 12-2, 3-0 in the Big Ten, with the Breslin Center in East Lansing, Michigan. Washington had their 2-game winning streak snapped at home against saturated Illini. An impressive performance by Illinois in that one, winning 81-77 on the road. Washington was 6.5-point dogs, so Washington did cover. Illinois only shot 19.2% from 3, which really held them back. And then the number 16th ranked Spartans are just rolling right now, win after win, looking very good. They're coming off heading to Columbus and beating Ohio State 69-62. That was their 7th straight victory. They're rolling. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have, move over here. We have on the spread, Michigan State -14 at -101. That's where it opened. Where it opened, though, there has been an 8-cent move towards the Huskies. And then on the total here, we have, on the total, we have a 147. It is juiced to the under. I see 146 is 146.5. So there's been 9 cents of movement to the under at this price. And then when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 32% of the tickets and 56% of the cash on Michigan State. Interesting. Washington Public, 66 and 67 on the over. Take it away, Bobano, a big one in East Lansing.
Yeah, this one is going to be a stay off for me. I don't trust Washington enough going on the road. Really good Michigan State team playing some good basketball right now. First, significant travel that they've had here in their Big Ten schedule. They have covered 3 in a row, Washington, and it's so much of what makes them go is if Great Osobor plays well, Washington's live. If Great Osobor stinks, and he's had a couple of games like that, it's been ugly for Washington. He is so important to them. There's no question. But Michigan State's really rolling along nicely, playing some good basketball. Washington, we'll see how they fare here on the road for the first time. Don't love the fact that, at UCLA they lost by 11, but now they got to make an even longer trip. And I think Michigan State's better than UCLA, so it's a pass for me.
We roll on. Next up, we have 8 p.m. Eastern action. Arkansas State Red Wolves. We head to the Sun Belt. 11-4, 2-1 in conference at South Alabama Jaguars. 11-4, undefeated in conference. This is a big game at Mitchell Center in Mobile, Alabama. 2 good basketball teams. Arkansas State coming off a loss. Their first loss in a while, losing at James Madison, 67-62. It was basically a pick 'em, and they did not deliver. They shot just 29.4% from 3 in the loss. So they're coming off of a loss. South Alabama has won 4 straight. They're coming off beating both Georgia State and Georgia Southern on the road, beating them both in 3 days. They also destroyed James Madison at home. This is a South Alabama Jaguar team that is rolling. Let's get to the line history here for this one. We have this total at 140. It's -114 to the under. This opened up at 141, so we've moved down a point. And then when we get to the point spread, we have the Red Wolves +1 at -108. They opened up +1.5, got to +2.5, and then it's come back down. So we've had a half-point move towards the Red Wolves. And when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have just 33% of the tickets and 16% of the cash on Arkansas State. So it's interesting that the lines move back to them. 88% of tickets, 88% cash on the over. Take it away, Bobano. Red Wolves heading to Mobile, Alabama to take on the Jaguars.
Yeah, I look at this matchup here. I like this Arkansas State Red Wolves team. They won both games last year against South Alabama. at home by a big margin, and here at South Alabama, close game, but they still won 76-73. South Alabama, very good team as well, 11-4. It's a great matchup between these two teams. At Arkansas State coming off a tough road loss against a solid JMU team, and now looking to bounce back here against a South Alabama team that they've had, some pretty good success against. Like I said, won both meetings last year. I think stylistically they can do some things to really make things difficult for South Alabama at the offensive end. I'm on Arkansas State here, plus 1.5, minus 114.
Arkansas State plus 1.5, minus 114. Was it just a look ahead spot in that no show against James Madison, knowing that they had the Jaguars on deck?
Not so much that. James Madison's a good team. They've had a good program for years. It's just a case of, look, you played a pretty good team. You are on the losing end of it. You didn't really shoot that great in that particular game. They've matched up well with South Alabama. I think it's a nice bounce back spot for what I think is a really good team, a team that's capable of winning this conference, quite honestly. So is South Alabama. They're good as well. But I think for Arkansas State, I like the idea of them going on the road off a tough loss, and you get a good effort from them. And they've matched up well. They beat this team twice last year.
We head over to I'm going to join you. We head over to the ASUN. Queens University 9-6, undefeated in the ASUN. Just 2 games in, but Lipscomb 10-5, also undefeated in the ASUN. We're at Allen Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Both teams on winning streaks. Queens University has won 2 straight, coming off a 92-83 victory over Florida Gulf Coast at home. They did that as 3.5-point favorites. They shot the ball well. They played clean basketball. This is a good ball team. Then we have Lipscomb off of 3 straight wins, 2 against Division I competition. Both teams played on Saturday, and Lipscomb absolutely destroyed North Florida Ospreys. They were 5.5-point favorites. They won 96-64. Just domination. I wonder if this is a bit of a letdown spot then for them after looking so good. Let's see if the market correlates with us backing this Queens University squad here. 13.5-point dogs. They opened up at 15, so we've moved 1.5 towards Queens University. Let's get to the total here for this one. This total in this one is sitting at 153.5, juiced to the under at minus 111. Opened up at 154. We have a 0.5-point move towards the under. And when we get to the cash flow, we have 81% of tickets and 90% of cash on Queens. So I know there's only 661 tickets in, but at least the market's moved it 1.5. 82% and 84% on the over. Take it away for us, Bobano. Queens University against Lipscomb.
I think if you look at series history here too, I mean, this Queens University team from Charlotte, I mean, last 2 meetings with Lipscomb, 6-point game and a 2-point game. I mean, they've been very close, competitive games. Queens has been on a good point spread run. They've covered 5 of their last 6. The only game they didn't was they were a big favorite against Stetson. They won by 9, but they hung tough against a good Ole Miss team. I like the way they're playing. They went on the road. They beat Gardner-Webb. They beat a solid Florida Gulf Coast team as a slight home dog. They're playing some really good basketball, Queens. Their offense is very fun to watch. They can score. They push pace. Obviously, Lipscomb plays that way as well. That's why this total is so high in this game. But again, when you look at the recent series history, Queens has given Lipscomb some trouble. And you have Lipscomb coming off what feels like the perfect performance they had against North Florida. They just rolled. They were making every shot. Their defense was locked in. When you play almost the perfect game, it's hard to follow it up sometimes the next time. So I think there's value in this number on the road dog here. So I'm on Queens, plus 14.5, minus 110.
Plus 14.5 and minus 110. I was sort of hoping that they wouldn't be as public as they are, but only 660 tickets in. I'm going to sit with that one for a little longer instead of just smashing it after the show. Let's move on. We got to work really, really quickly here. Bobano, do you just want to give us the picks? We got 3 games left.
Yeah, well, I'll just give you the picks.
Okay, and then we'll go over them. Okay, so Grand Canyon, Utah Valley.
Yeah, Grand Canyon, Utah Valley is an interesting matchup here. I mean, Utah Valley, man, they're really impressive to me. I mean, the more I watch this team, the more I'm impressed with the way they've been playing. We'll see how they fare here against this Grand Canyon team. But I'm telling you what, I'm not in a rush to step in front of Utah Valley here. That being said, Grand Canyon is one of the top teams in this conference as well. Going to be a test, but that's for that reason I'm staying off this game. But as a home dog, I lean Utah Valley. I think they're better than people think they are.
Okay. Well, we're going to go over these games once again. We're just getting the looks here from Bobano, and then we'll go over them again. Super true. It wasn't listed earlier. It wasn't listed last night. That's why we didn't attack that 2 p.m. game here. Morgan Spear saying Grand Canyon 0-3 in true road games. We're going to go over this once again. Let's hear Bobano's look for UC Irvine. 3-0 in the Big West at Cal State and Northridge. We're Northridge, California, so we expect this game to be a go. Take it away. Your thoughts on this really important Big West matchup.
Yeah, Irvine to me, is obviously for years they've been a really good team, solid defensive team, got a decent amount of size as well on this team. Northridge is one of those teams that's going to try to get the ball up and down the court. Starting to play a little bit better, though, 4-1 at home. Irvine, meanwhile, they've won and covered 3 in a row. They went to Cal Baptist, won by 8. They went to Cal Poly as an 8-point road favorite. They won by 8. They beat down Riverside in their last game. They've won 5 straight head-to-head meetings over Northridge. They've covered 3 of the last 4. And here at Northridge, 89-64, 71-57, 75-70 for Irvine, the last 3 visits here. So to me, I think the price is a little bit cheap here on Irvine. Cheap enough that I think I'm going to get involved in it. -3.5, -108 for the Anteaters.
-3.5 here for Bobano. What was the juice? Sorry.
-3.5, -108.
It's 108. We don't think it's going to be canceled. It could be the juice. It's going to be empty, but we don't think it's going to be canceled at this point. Let's go into the final spot on the board. Now we're going to go over them once again. Mr. Belvedere sharing his action. Thank you for sharing that with us. I will go over all of that as well. Oregon State Beavers, Santa Clara Broncos. Head over to the WCC for this one in Santa Clara. Take it away.
I'm telling you what, I think when you look at this matchup, and the first thing that you're going to notice is, wow, we've got Oregon State here in this matchup getting these points. But I think when you look at the situation, Santa Clara is a really good basketball team this year. I think when you look at it, Herb Stendek's done a nice job with this brother. A solid offensive team, can score. That's the one concern I've got for Oregon State, is that sometimes this team can get into droughts. I'm a little bit concerned that we're laying maybe a little bit more than we maybe should be in this game. I'm not on this game, but I'm a little reluctant to go against the Broncs of Santa Clara. It's a really good team, and I've just not seen enough consistency out of Oregon State to trust them, even though they're getting a decent amount of points here.
I love it, Bobano. I will review all of your action. Yeah, I'm with Jay Peasy. Northridge put out, one of the reasons why I put this in, because it's a huge game in the Big West, but Northridge put out a memo 24 hours ago saying, look, we're not in the line of danger. We expect to be moving forward, but we're praying for everyone and all that here. And there is that game at 2 p.m. that wasn't listed last night. Are you moving on that one, Bobano, that's popping off here in 48 minutes?
Let me just see here. Yeah, I know you're talking about Morehead State and Little Rock. There's a lot of money coming in on Morehead State. I thought that 6.5 was a little high. 3.5 now, I'd actually think the value is kind of swinging back to Little Rock. So I do think Little Rock's still the better of those two teams. It's not the same Morehead team this year. So I think now you got to kind of look at the home favorite if you're going to bet that one. But I didn't get involved in it.
Both teams coming off of losses. We'll touch on it after Bobano bounces.
Thank you so much. You know what, Jamie? I'm gonna break down here emotionally and admit that I'm gonna take Rutgers here. I'm gonna take Rutgers. I'm staring Purdue getting blown out at Penn State, blown out at Marquette in some of these recent road games in the face, and I'm like, if Rutgers is even good tonight, they're probably going to win this game, because Purdue it has had some real issues on the road. Throw out that game against Minnesota. Minnesota's not that good. The one road win that Purdue had. So I'm going to add Rutgers to the card, +2.5, -110.
Rutgers +2.5, -110. I'll be rolling with you on that one. You got it locked and loaded. I'll review all your action here. I thank you for staying along. I apologize for keeping you along. Go crush the ice, guys. Do your thing, my man. And thank you. Please support Bobano. Hitting the Books YouTube channel. I'm a subscriber. Please subscribe as well. Also, of course, the NBA OG show. And then we have the Ice Guys 7 days a week. Thank you so much for your time and energy, my man. Any last words for the Capper Supporting Show?
No, just let's have a great Thursday. NBA, big NHL card, big college basketball card, a great college football playoff semifinal game tonight. Lots going on, so enjoy it. Cash some tickets, and we'll see you again next week.
Love it. Thank you, Bobano. Jose, don't put any graphic on because let's touch on this Morehead State Little Rock. See if we do want to have action on it. Morehead State had their winning streak snapped in a real ugly performance. I mean, they got destroyed by Tennessee Tech 74-55. They shot 36.5 from the field, 20% from three. It was ugly. They were just 2.5 point dogs. They were down 11. I mean, this was a tie game too. This was a tie game, 27-27. And then they lose by 19. I mean, it's a real ugly performance by Morehead State Eagles. And then you have Little Rock coming off of a loss. You know, they lose 95-86. Also on the road, they lose at Tennessee State. They were 1.5 point dogs. They shot the ball fine. They just, played real porous defensively. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This one popping off in 45 minutes. Obviously, we don't force it, but it would be nice to have some afternoon action. This total is at 135.5. It's slightly juiced to the over. We had a 1 point move towards the under. And when we get to the point spread here for this Morehead State, Arkansas Little Rock spot, we have this huge move towards Morehead State. I mean, +7 to +4, and it's really 3.5. Just a monstrous move here. I'm curious if 365 might be late on this move. They're not. It's 3.5. Look, it's just moved too far. I wish we had hammered it earlier. Black Thor King looking moving on Morehead State first half. You have to think that Morehead State bounces back from that abysmal performance last out, but it's just I'm just too late to the party, and I'm not going to take it at 3.5 points. Worse than it was available. So there'll be no action for me in that one, unfortunately. Let's go back to the last spot that we talked about, and it's a big one. Grand Canyon at Utah Valley. Both teams undefeated in the WAC. We've heard some important stuff. Morgan Spooner saying Grand Canyon 0-3 in true road games. We had the look here on also Rod Zweig saying Grand Canyon 1-11 against the spread as a favorite. Utah Valley 3-0 against the spread at home. By the way, Billy Friedrich says it's an over spot for him. Says Morehead State's gone over 136 in all 10 of their games. That makes me nervous too when the market puts a total that they've covered or that they've gone over in 10 straight. That makes me a little nervous. Rod Zweig got Little Rock by 7. So he says so plenty of value at that number. No, I hear you. That doesn't. I need every single thing to correlate for me, or there's just, that's how I've been handling college basketball. It can be quite a tricky sport, and it's working for me at this point. It's very early in the season. My volume's being low. Let's talk about this one though. We didn't have a move from Bobano. Did we have a move from Morgan? Let me go back to Morgan's action here. Yes. Oh, he's got Utah Valley +3.5 here. So let's get into this one. We got 3 games left, and then we'll move into NBA. Unfortunately, Durrell is dealing with the fires. Hopefully, they're not going to get evacuated right now, but the power's out. So it's just me now. I did spend a lot of time on NBA. I've already moved on one game, and I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. I feel pretty good about what I'm doing. So we'll hammer that together. So let's go into this one. So we know that Morgan Spooner is on Utah Valley here. Grand Canyon coming in off yet another victory. This team is rolling. Now both teams are coming in on winning streaks. Grand Canyon's won 5 straight. They're coming off that 82-71 victory at home over Southern Utah. They were 15.5 point favorites, so they didn't cover. They shot terrible from the field, but 55% from 3, which is a very strange situation. From the field, they go 27 of 68, but 11 of 20 from 3. Imagine a team that's not hitting any easy 2-point buckets, but they're hitting all their threes. Very, very strange game there for the Lopes. And then we have Utah Valley being backed here by Morgan Spooner. Let's take a look at their situation here quickly. We have the Wolverines, winners of 4 straight. coming off of a 64-53 win over Abilene Christian. That was at home. They were 9.5-point favorites. Utah Valley won despite shooting 11.1% from three and turning the ball over 17 times. Obviously not a situation where they can feel good about how they played. Dabby Cab, yeah, I don't bet props. I certainly don't bet props that I haven't studied. So I've got it copied and pasted, so I'll look into it. But somebody can hand me a beautiful bet, but I need to do my own work on it before I do anything or move on anything. So let's roll here. I want to take a look at the line history and the cash flow for this Utah Valley spot, knowing that Morgan moving on it. Utah Valley right now +3 at -108. They opened up at +3.5. So we've had a half. Now this went down to 2. This was 2 at the start of the show. So there has been buyback, but Utah Valley right now a +3. So a half-point move towards them. When we get to the total here for this one, we have, here we go. We have this total at 144. It's 144.5 or 145, depending on where you shop. This has dropped down from 146.5, but it's heavily juiced to the over. And then when we get to the cash flow here, I'm very interested because Utah Valley is 39% of the tickets and 20% of the cash. Look, there's being buyback on Grand Canyon, which tells me it would be prudent to wait. We've come from back. We went down to 2. It's gone up to 3. I'm going to be on Utah Valley, but I'm going to wait. I'm not going to bet this after the show. This will be a wait and see if I can get a better line or if it continues to move. Here we go, Utah Valley. Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Brizzy wants to rock with me in NBA. I would love that. So I'd love that if Brizzy wants to rock with me. That would be great. Let's move on. We heard that Bobano is on UC Irvine -3.5 at -108. Sorry if I got a bit of a cough right now. 13-2 is UC Irvine on the year. 3-0 in the Big West. Going up against Cal State and Northridge. 11-4, 3-1 in the Big West. Northridge, California. For this one, let's take a look at the line history and the cash flow here. A lot of people liking these anteaters. This totals at 147.5. Other books have it at 146.5. This was also at 146.5, but it came back up to 147.5, which is where it opened. So we haven't had movement, from that opening line. Let's get into the point spread here for UC Irvine. Sorry, taking a second. Here we go. Just 2 games in college basketball before we break down the NBA card. UC Irvine -4 with no vig. So at the 4, we've had a 7-cent move toward Cal State Northridge. Obviously, we know that the fire is probably affecting the squad in different ways, and there'll be nobody in the arena tonight. Now, is this a perfect opportunity for a coach to give a speech about stepping up? With all the pain that everybody's dealing with the fires. Again, I can't really. It sounds like it might. I don't know if you'd want to put in your speech or not. UC Irvine's won 3 straight. Cal State Northridge won 4 straight basketball games. Now 3 against Div 1 competition. They're coming off beating UC Davis at home. They're playing good basketball. They took out UC Davis Aggies, who aren't a bad squad. Now, they were 8.5-point favorites, but they won by 12. They played very well. They're a good defensive squad. Let's get our cash flow set up then for this one. With no movement or a very slight move towards Northridge, the question is, how much of this fire do you want to mess with? I don't. That's the tricky part. So here we go. We have UC Irvine with 59% of tickets, just 40% of the cash. CS Northridge 41-60. Feels like Northridge is the play here, but Bobano's on UC Irvine. I want to sit with this a little longer. Do I have the conviction to go up against Bobano first of all, and then secondly, I would like to get an idea of how this is going to affect the squad being the fire. UC Irvine being backed by cappers in the chat. Now, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they back them? Look, this team is 13-0 and 3-0 in conference. Northridge already has the loss in conference. I don't think the market is telling us that UC Irvine is the spot. The juice says Irvine is the best team in the Big West. That's not what this game is about. This is just a one-game, one-off situation where Cal State Northridge may step up for their city. They may not. I'll need to look into it a little deeper, but I'm certainly leaning towards Cal State Northridge. Let's talk about the final game here on the board before we get into NBA. That being 10 p.m. Eastern, Oregon State Beavers. We head to the WCC. They're 12-4, a 2-1 in conference. At Santa Clara Broncos, 10-6, 2-1 in conference. Let's get into this line history right off the hop here for our final spot on the board. Santa Clara -6.5 at a pick'em. Opened up at 5.5. This opened up at 5.5, got to 6, went down back to 5.5. Then it went up to 7. This was at 7 this morning. Right now it's at 6.5. We have the 1-point move to Steve Nash's Santa Clara Broncos. Let's take a look at the total here. We'll go into the cash flow, touch on some X's and O's, and then move into NBA. From a cash flow standpoint, we have a total 145.5 at the pick'em. This has come all the way down from 149. So we've had a huge move towards the under. Mikey D in the house, landing in Vegas at 7 p.m. Eastern. I love that. By the way, Matty Ice is also on CSUN in that one there. The Jew says their headspace won't be right. It depends how you frame it. And I'm not saying that the coach is going to frame it, you're going to step up for your city, but if they do frame it in that way, then there's no reason why they wouldn't. But I hear what you're saying. Here we have 71% of the tickets and 66% of the cash on Oregon State, yet this line's moving towards the Broncos, which tells me the Broncos are very live here. Let's just take a quick look at the X's and O's and decide if the Broncos are a spot where we expect them to take care of business against Oregon State, who's 12-4. This is the kind of situation where you look at the number and you're like, good God, it shouldn't be this big of a spread. And when it is like that, I've learned to kind of gravitate towards it instead of being uncomfortable with it. Oregon State coming off a victory versus Toreros. I believe it's Toreros. They've won 2 of their last 3, but they've looked terrible on the road. Then the question is, how many road games have they played as they looked so bad in their last road game? So let's just see how many they played. They lose to Loyola Marymount 82-61 on the road. Their other game at North Texas, they lose 58-55. They played 2 true road games and looked bad in both. And they're coming off dominating at home, looking so good at home against Toreros. They're 15.5-point favorites and they win 81-54. San Diego shot 29.3 from the field and 24 from 3. Of course they win that game. So then we have Santa Clara bounce back from their overtime loss to the Dons by just barely beating San Diego on the road. So they're not playing good basketball. But if you go back home, they are. 2 games on the road, they play bad. We know Oregon State's playing bad on the road. Why isn't this Santa Clara? I'm betting Santa Clara. I'm going to be on Santa Clara. I expect to be on Northridge. I'm going to be on Utah Valley, but I think I may wait. I'll keep an eye on what the market is doing there. Bobano on Queens plus 14.5. It doesn't fit my wheelhouse for correlating action because the public's all over the spot. Everybody's looking at the number saying, it's way too big. So I don't know if I get there. Or I'm going to wait and see what happens with the market. Arkansas State Red Wolves makes sense to me. Hofstra as well. Bobano on Hofstra and the over 139.5. He's on Arkansas State. Bobano on Rutgers. Rutgers may be a first half and full game spot here for me. Bobano on Oregon, full game plus 3.5. Dabby Cab on Oregon, first half plus 2. Yeah, do it, Matty Ice, please, my man. Love to hear that angle. And then Bobano on Chattanooga, minus 2.5, which I may end up on as well. I'm going to go over, Mr. Belvedere's action. I'm going to go over Morgan Spooner's action. I'll go everybody who's given us college basketball action. I will also go over. And the taint play of the day is in, giving us his full card as well. But the taint play of the day is in Delaware minus 3.5, Rutgers money line, Towson minus 3.5, East Kentucky and under 178 1F, but he's on Oregon. Sorry, I thought it was Oregon State. So he's on Oregon. The taint play of the day is in. A shout out to our guy here, Matty Ice. Sweet taint. Oh, I didn't realize that Brizzy was in the casino at the time, so he's going to go bet some games. If Brizzy wants to come in and let us know what he's on, no problem. But I didn't realize that he was actually at the casino. Why don't we check in with Brizzy right now before we get into NBA and have him pop on? Brizzy, what's good, man? How are you?
What's good, man? I'm ready to go, dog. I grabbed one of these little sheets. I'm ready.
Okay, you ready to rock? It sounds decent. Okay, internet.
How's the sound? That's what I was more worried about. That's why I was walking around to try to find. Of course, some asshole had to come up to me and sit right next to me and start playing the slot machine about 5 minutes ago. I was like, dude, I'll pay you $20 to leave right now. He goes, I'm actually gonna make the money here. I'm like, all right, you got to be an asshole.
No worries. What casino are you at?
Bally's Casino, because they have the best sportsbook lines, but I would not be here longer than another hour.
Oh, I love it. Okay, we got Brizzy on location, Atlantic City here. Nasty Nate says, I watched the last Rutgers game, and I'll never bet them again. Yeah, Nasty Nate, I get it. Remember that that watching games does not necessarily help, because things get in your head like that. Now, if we all lose money on Rutgers, then it'll be great for you. But if we all cash on Rutgers, then, you got to remember that each day is a whole new slate of possibilities and opportunities and a whole fresh environment to cap. But I completely hear you and understand it. Yeah, Matty Ice, we'd love to hear it, man. However you want to do it. If you want to do it in the chat or if you want to jump on here at the end, whatever you would prefer, Matty Ice, we'd love it. All right, let's get into NBA here and let's roll. I have moved on one spot. I'm a little nervous when we get to what's happened with the line movement, but we'll see how it bangs out. All right, we got a Brizzy live on location here in Atlantic City. Let me get the line movement up here for NBA so we can move over quickly, and the cash flow as well for NBA. And then let's attack. I like this NBA card, and I'm ready to rock here. Daryl not with us due to the fires in LA. Thinking about you, Daryl. We start with the Toronto Raptors.
Going to get canceled?
Sorry?
Is that Lakers game going to get canceled tonight?
It's going to get canceled, but we have not had that confirmed yet. So at this point, we're going to just move forward with it, but we expect it to be canceled. Raptors 8-29, 1-16 on the road. At the Cleveland Cavaliers 32-4, 19-1 at home. We're at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, come on, from a spot situation, how can you get a worse spot than what the Cavaliers have right now? But they seem to not be affected by bad spots as they just play with the chip on their shoulder with something to prove. But how could this not be a horrible spot for them? Let's get into the line history here. Cleveland -15. They opened up -15.5. We've had a half-point move towards the very, very weak Toronto Raptors. When we get to the total here for this one, we have a 235.5 at a pick'em. This opened up at 234.5, dropped down to 233. It's bounced back and forth. This got up to 236.5 a couple times, down to 233. Right now we have 235.5. So we have a 1-point move towards the over. When we get into the cash flow for this one, we have just 24% of tickets and 18% of cash on the Raptors. 71% of tickets, 73% of cash on the over. And Mitchell is out in the second half of a back-to-back. Mitchell is out. I'll have all the latest here. I've got the injury report up, but I'll get the latest injury report up here in a second. So let's go. The Raptors are 1-4 over their past 5, playing at the 25th fastest pace in the league, 96.3 possessions a game. They're shooting 46.4 from the field and 34 from 3 over the last 5 games, which is better than I expected them to shoot at really any point this year. Cleveland, of course, rolling 11 straight wins. 5-0, of course, then. 5th pace over those 5 games, 101.8 possessions a game, shooting the ball beautifully, 49.5 from the field and 38.2% from 3. Both teams are on the second half of back-to-back. Raptors coming after losing their third straight game, 112-98. The Knicks last night. IQ obviously cared very much about going up against his former team. Quickly went 7-12 from the field and scored 22 points. Cavs coming up their 11th straight win, 129-122 at home over the Thunder on Wednesday. What a big game that was. Jared Allen, 25 points, went 9-11 from the field, picked up 11 boards. Mobley looked phenomenal, 21 points, 10 boards, 7 assists. I mean, there's only 4 teams in NBA history that have won 32 of their first 36 games. 3 of those have won the NBA championship. The only team who didn't, was the 73-9 Golden State Warriors in 2015-2016. Take it away for us here, Brizzy, Raptors, Cavs.
Yeah, me and Jose talked about the Raptors game yesterday because I had just a little parlay on with that involved the Knicks. It feels like the Raptors have been covering these spreads and stuff like that when you look at the numbers pre-flop. But of recent, in the last week and a half, they keep on getting smacked by margin here. Granted, I would want to bet the Raptors given the situational scenario spot with the Cleveland, but Donovan Mitchell being out, maybe the young guys of Max Strus, who's been coming back since injury, he's been getting more minutes, but he's playing a different role this year. He's been coming off the bench, but his point prop tonight's only 7.5. IQ's been playing really well since coming back from injury. His rebounds and assist line's only 8.5 tonight. Didn't he have a double-double in his first 2 games back with the assist? So he's been doing really well. But the Raptors, just in general, it feels like a Raptor spot with the plus 15.5. There's no secret that the bookies are going to try to make this unappealing to bet Cleveland. There's no secret that this has been the best team in the NBA. We just saw them all play on ESPN last night. But the Raptors 1-9 straight up, 2-8 ATS in their last 10 games. I don't think I'm going to get to the window with it, but I like the Raptors here, and I like the over 235.5.
I don't know how we lay off of this, honestly. I mean, I'm hesitant to want to invest anything against the Cavaliers, obviously, but how are they supposed to deliver here? I mean, the Raptors care about this basketball game when the Cavs just beat the best team I guess Cavs are the best team in the NBA, but
yeah, but that Donovan Mitchell injury kind of makes it a little bit of a not as good of a spot because you want the star studs out there going through the motions, not Ty Jerome, who's trying to not get sent back down to the G League, filling in for Donovan Mitchell, trying to light up the scoreboard and stuff like that. So I don't know. It makes seems like a Cleveland, not a Cleveland spot. Seems like a Raptor spot. But if you like the Raptors, they're going to have to score here. This is 235.5 total. If you like the Raptors, I would go probably team total over. Usually when you bet in basketball, the underdog team total over, you're going to get reduced odds on the team total just because they're the underdog.
Huh.
Not reduced odds, but you know what I mean, less points of
No, I feel you.
What let me look at the total for this game.
We have Earl Sports bets on the Raptors first quarter as well.
I mean, the over at Caesars, which is right next to Bally's, is at 236, and FanDuel on my phone's at 234. The over seems like the sharp move. The Raptors team total over is 110.5 here. Cavs team total over 123.5 minus 118. Maybe I don't know. This isn't the best game of the card, but I would say this is too many points though. It feels like too many points. This line's already moving down to 13.5 as we speak.
Wow. I mean, I can get it right now at both 14.5 and 15.
Yeah, I'm seeing 13.5 at Parks, and the only 14.5s in the market are offshore books.
Well, 365 still at 14.5.
Yeah, 365 still at 14.5. If you go to ESPN bet, they still have 15.5. But how long will that be there? That probably changes it by the time that you're depositing money in your account.
And Bo Jackson talking about Omarare. I love the signing. Get another Canadian kid there. I like it. Yeah, the Pinnacles just pulled it here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. I think 13.5, 12.5 probably closes 11.5. probably a lot more people in the same sentiments. Like, there's no way the bookies are going to give a spread on the Cleveland Cavaliers against one of the worst teams in the league and make you want to bet the Cleveland side. So it's like, it's one of those Jedi mind trick games. Do I really want to be sitting at a fucking casino yelling at the TV for a Raptors game? Probably not. So I'm probably going to pass. But your situation's a little bit different. You're more of a fan of the team.
Well, I'm going to have to move on this right now. I look, I can understand the angle you make here with them stepping up without Mitchell is a real one. And it's important to talk about because it does take a bit of the luster away from it. But the Raptors know they're not playing good basketball. They're going in not thinking, oh, Mitchell's not out there. They're going in thinking we're about to play a team that's.
I'm so right there with you. It's just like, could the Raptors lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers backups by double digits? Yeah, bro. It's the best team in the league. There's one thing that we learned about the best teams in the league. They have the best backups in the league. So it's like, it's one of those type of situations. Like Max Strus was a starter last year. He fucking damn near was trying to carry them in that Boston series. Dude's been coming off the bench.
No, it's all fair, but I mean, they put everything into that victory against the Thunder. Yeah, no, I get it. I absolutely get it here, but I am going to take both the first quarter and the full game here with the Raptors. And I want to, I've sent it in. I just want to tweet it out here as well. So I know the Raptors are unrested. That doesn't bother me here. And if everybody wants Cleveland or nothing, I get it. So we're not yes men. We're not here to agree with everybody. But I don't care that he's not in Mitchell, even though I do like, and it's important comment here. Brizzy, can you set up Warriors Pistons? Because I want to get this in. Look,
Warriors.
Do you think I'd be more comfortable if everybody was like, if everybody's like, good God, you're right. Bet the Raptors. No, everybody's telling me not to, and everybody's on the other side of it. I'm perfectly comfortable with that. And look, I'll deal with it.
Who is going to the window and walking up and betting the Raptors? And why would the bookies even give you an appealing line on the Cleveland Cavaliers? That's what makes it a pass for me.
No, I get it.
If I like the Raptors, I'd take that IQ prop, man. 8.5 rebounds and assists. Dude had a double-double in his first 2 games back. If you watch the Raptors since they came back, everybody looks real healthy. Jakob, what is it? Podol? He's been looking really well. He's going to be needed to be used tonight. If you're going to go degen on this, Jim, you might do one of those tickets where you take the plus 7.5 alt line, and then you do another ticket getting like plus 20.5 and throw in a couple player props just in case to make your money back. I just don't. It's just like, out of all the shit that I got this paper here, a bunch of college basketball games, this paper here, a bunch of NBA games. I don't think I need to be betting the Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight.
No, I feel you. But I bet them both. I'm on Raptors first quarter plus 4.5, minus 105, and I'm on Raptors full game plus 14.5, a minus 110. Available right now at Bet365. I'll deal with whatever consequences come. Okay, let's move on. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern. True Allah looking at double-double for Mobley or Allen there. And Earl Sports bets Pistons minus 125 says the fact that they're favorites says something. Let's roll into that one. Warriors, Pistons. By the way, Nick Earl going to be joining us on our playoff NFL Pub Wildcard Pub Hub Saturday at 12 p.m. That's right after the starting 5 here. Hornets Lakers postponed. That's what we expected. So all good. Let's roll. Matty Ice, jump on as soon as we're done NBA. You can take over, my man. Matty Ice, my man. Okay, let's go. Warriors, Pistons, Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Warriors are 2-3 over the past 5, 15th fastest pace in the league, 99.6 possessions a game, 46.1 from the field, and 39 from 3. Detroit is rolling. 5-0. They won 5 straight, 21st fastest pace, 97.9 possessions a game, shooting 47.6 from the field and 36.4 from 3. Yeah, BJ, I heard Reddick talking all about it yesterday. I look, my heart goes out to all of our cappers and all. I mean, do I care that these guys who are worth $100 million had their house burned down? Yeah, I hope no one got hurt. Okay, let's get into the
That's a good
line
response,
history.
Jamie. That's a good way to handle it.
Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have, we have this total at 220 minus 109 to the under. And we've heard already from Razor Sharp Picks, he is on the under 220 here at minus 110. This total opened up at 220 and a half. It's dropped a half point to 220. Let's go over to the spread here for this one. We have Golden State Warriors +2 at minus 102. These Pistons have gone from -4 to -2. So we've had a 2-point move towards the Golden State Warriors here. Let's get into the cash flow here for this one. We have 14% of the tickets and 14% of the cash on the Pistons. Strange. 17% of tickets and 35% cash on the under. The Warriors coming off their second straight loss, 114-98 at home to the Heat on Tuesday. This is the first of a back-to-back. They play it at Indiana tomorrow night. Look, we've heard from Curry how upset he is with the way the team is playing in front of him. And now we see the importance of Kuminga, who's been sidelined with the right ankle sprain. Let's take a look and see if there's anything also added to this injury report that we weren't expecting. Steph Curry, Draymond, game time decisions. So is Schroeder. Schroeder is questionable here. So Steph Curry also questionable, but obviously with this market move towards him.
I feel like they're going to play. This line opened up at 3.5, and I'm looking at it right now. It's at 1.5. So I feel like that implies that they're in, or better stink that they're in.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and Draymond too. So you have to think that all three will play at this point. Then the important issue is Isaiah Thompson, who's sick. He didn't play a Wednesday against Brooklyn. So Curry 22.9, Kuminga 16.8. Pistons on the second half of a back-to-back after winning their fifth straight game last night, 113-98 at Brooklyn. Cade Cunningham 13 and 5 assists, and they still delivered. It was Beasley rolling with 23, Fontecchio with 17, Sasser with 15. It's a long, 19 wins and 18 losses after winning 14 games all last year. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Warriors, Pistons.
Yeah, when you talk about situational spots, that's kind of like the way we like to cap here. It seems like a Warrior spot as the Pistons are 2-7 or 2-5 in their last 7 games, playing on second half of a back-to-back. But when I'm looking at the market combined with how people think about the Warriors and the public perception of them, who the fuck is walking up to the window and betting the Pistons at home today? Nobody. And I think I might be the one to do it, man. The Pistons have been red hot. Just erase the team name and just look at how they've been playing. 8-2 over the last 10 games coming into this game. 5-game winning streak. 5-2 as a home money line favorite this season. I like the Pistons here. I'm going to fade the public. This is probably going to be the most public bet underdog of the day is going to be the Warriors money line. And I like the Pistons, but I think if you like the Pistons, you just keep on waiting around until everybody gets ruled in, and then you probably get this game at a pick 'em. I think this game closes at a pick 'em. Warriors open up at +3.5, and it's closing up to a 1-point line that tells you everything that you need to know. If you're wanting to be on the Warriors, should have been on it last night. I like the Pistons and the under here.
Pistons and the under. Are you making either official here?
No, I didn't. To be honest with you, I still haven't bet any NBA yet. I really came down here for college football, hence the Notre Dame jacket, the hat, the fit. But I'm definitely betting some college basketball and NBA basketball on this slate today.
I feel you here. And the Juice is right with the Juice saying. He's saying he's sick of people saying, oh, who cares? They're rich. They will just build a new house. You can't replace pets, families, and memories. Life is not only measured by immaterial objects. You're absolutely right, the Juice. I just I think I care less about JJ Redick than every other person in the Fire. I think he's at the very bottom of who I care about. That's all. There's so many people affected, and as you said, memories and pets, and I don't. JJ Redick is not not going to be sitting here going, "Oh, I hope JJ's okay." All right, let's roll on.
I didn't talk about any player props in this game, but if you were to look at player props in this game, it's been a lot of assists for Cade Cunningham, but I feel like when you see a counterpart in front of you of like somebody that you probably like played on the video game with growing up as a kid or like in college and shit like that, you want to look across from him and just hit a jumper right in his fucking face and let him know this is the start of a new era. If you're going to play a player prop in this game, I think you go Cade Cunningham over 24.5 points on FanDuel. It's at 24.5 at -120, and the rest of the markets are at 25.5. Janted towards the +100 at Bet365, -109 Caesars, 24.5 at Parks, 23.5 at DraftKings Sportsbook. So if you have DraftKings, I wouldn't even mind playing that. I think Cade's assist prop is a little bit too high tonight. I mean, goddamn, 9.5 assists over under. If you're gonna bet the over on Cade's assist, I would just bet his double prop.
Yeah, Cade bounce back spot like AOD talking about, a very legitimate possibility. I might even look into that a little bit here as well. Let's roll on. Minnesota Timberwolves, Orlando Magic next stop on the board. Paolo Banchero expected to be in the lineup. Let's see if he is in the lineup.
It sounded like from his Instagram post from the other day, he like posted a picture of like him posted up like this saying, "Get ready for basically the Paolo show." And he was ready for the new year. So if it's up to him, I think he plays. And this is an NBA TV game. I think he plays. Like, they wouldn't put that injury news report up on a Tuesday or a Monday if he wasn't going to play in the NBA TV game today.
You know, I'm right with you. Yes, Lexi will definitely be limited minutes. But Saturated says he's playing tomorrow here. This is first of back-to-back. They host the Bucks tomorrow night. Interesting. I mean, we generally want to fade the team who's bringing back their star player, but trusting the Wolves with anything is very tricky. Saturate says he's read that they're getting him ready for tomorrow, and Razor on the under here in this one. Let's talk about the spot here. We have Minnesota -6 and -102. This opened up at 4.5. I think that's telling. I think that means that he won't be back for this one. This total is at 199.5. It's slightly juiced to the over. This has come all the way down from 205.5. Good God. A huge move towards the under. When we get to the cash flow here, 39% of the tickets, 34% of cash on the Magic, 90% of tickets, 81% cash on the over. Of course, this Magic squad dealing with a ton of injuries here. So we have Jalen Suggs out, Wagner out with the oblique, and then Mo Wagner gone with the season-ending ACL injury. Cole Anthony stepped up. You know, I can't even say his name without thinking of him ruining the dunk contest in Timberlands. 24 points. Wendell Carter Jr. went for 19 off the bench here. And Anthony Black, 9 points, 5 assists. He comes back from a 4-game absence. So then we have
it's crazy. He actually got benched. He was like DMP'd, and then they just started playing him ratably again. It's like you would think with all those injuries, he would be the one that would get thrown in there. But they've been rolling with Caleb Houston, Tristan Da Silva from Colorado from last year, as well as Big Mo got hurt in the last couple of weeks as well. So it's been a lot of Goga Patate action.
You know, I would be interested in backing them here, especially if Banchero's announced out, and this moves even further towards the Timberwolves. Minnesota 2-3 over the past 5, 27th fastest pace, 96 possessions a game. Orlando 29th fastest pace at 92.7 possessions a game. We've also talked about the 3-point percentage for Orlando throughout the season. It's generally been under 30 in all 5-game stanzas that we've talked about. Right now, it's 33.2%, but a far cry from Minnesota shooting 41.5 from 3. Both teams have similar field goal numbers. Minnesota a little better. Timberwolves coming off their second straight win, 104-97. The Pelicans on Tuesday. This is their third game in 4 nights. And as you guys talking about in the chat, just rolling. 53 when they lose at Detroit, then 37, and then 32. 122 points and 23 threes. That's a franchise record for the Timberwolves in the 3-game span. Gobert, 14.6 blocks against the Pelicanos. I want the Magic. I want the Magic here. Timberwolves third game in 4 nights coming off 2 wins. I want Banchero to be announced out. I want to wait, and I want to move on the Magic. BJ says clear under market total. 100% agree with Razor. Oh, I hear you guys. Makes sense. Now, 105.5 down to 99.5 is just a monstrous move. But I can understand believing in the move. I'm going to want the Magic, and I'm going to wait patiently. I'm going to wait patiently and see how high this number goes up. And I'm not going to be concerned. I'm not going to say, oh, it's the market saying this is a wrong bet. I'm not going to. I think they step up without Banchero again tonight. Take it away if he's out. If he's in, I'll just stay off. Take it away, Brizzy. Wolves, Magic.
I want to do some more research about when Banchero is supposed to come back, because they do play Milwaukee Friday and then they play Philadelphia on Sunday. And this is a West Coast team. In reality, when West Coast teams play East Coast teams, for the public, we care for betting and for watching interest and the viewership. But in reality, that shit means nothing to the record at the end of the year when a West Coast team plays the East Coast team. So it's I think Orlando could be tanking this game. It's just not my favorite Minnesota spot ever. Man, I got to figure out if he's going to be in or out, because if he gets ruled out, I think there's a good opportunity to bet the Orlando Magic team total under here. It sounds crazy at 97.5, but he doesn't play. I'm betting this team total under. It could be at fucking 90. I don't care. And a winner or a cover or a loss, I just don't see how this game reaches 100 points. I think Minnesota's going to run through the motions, and if they run through the motions, god damn, man. I mean, look at their results in the last week, and that shows what happens when Minnesota runs through the motions. They're not that talented to do that anymore. Ant's going out here putting 30 clips up, and they're fighting nail and tooth to even pull out W's. So it's I don't know how geared up I am to watch Minnesota. Me and Jose were actually laughing about Wemby yesterday. I was saying, doesn't it feel like sometimes when you watch a Spurs game, you get so caught up in watching Wemby, and then you look at the score of the game, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And it's how I feel with Minnesota in this last couple of weeks. They were good to me in December. I haven't gone back to them in the new year yet. So we'll see how this one develops throughout the day. But early leans would be Orlando team total under on the full game. Minnesota as a money line parlay piece. Not my favorite. Wouldn't go crazy on it. But if you're going 5 legs or more, I think Minnesota starts getting into the question at around the 4th or the 5th leg.
Yeah, I feel you. Makes sense. I can't find any information right now on Banchero being in, but Drewski says Paolo is in tonight. Did you see?
Yeah, this line though is
it's saying that he's not in, but
yeah, the line's saying he's out.
Yeah.
For real. I don't want to sound like the guy of bearer of bad news, but his line sounds like he's out. And if he's out, then it turns into one of those games where it's the Minnesota goes up, probably closes to 7.5, 8. They probably win the game, don't cover. You know what I'm saying? This game probably comes down to if this game probably closes, where the game finishes is probably where it opened up at line wise. Where it closes, I think they're going to try to fuck over people in Minnesota on the spread. People thinking this shit's easy.
Redbeard bigger balls than me on Magic money line, but I want Banchero announced out. I will wait and then move on Orlando. Saturate says he's making moves on this game, assuming he won't be there. I mean, that's what the market's telling us. But let's roll on. 8 p.m. Eastern with the Houston Rockets, 24-12, 11-6 on the road. The Memphis Grizzlies, 24-13, 15-4 at home. We're at FedEx Forum, Memphis, Tennessee. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have this total at 233.5. This opened up at 231, got up to 234, dropped 233.5, 234, bouncing back and forth. Still a couple point move towards the over. On the point spread here, we have this Rockets Memphis spot. It's a pick 'em. We do have Memphis -1 at -110 here offshore. This opened up at +3, so we've had a 4-point move. 4-point move towards Memphis at home. A 4-point move towards Memphis at home. When we get to the cash flow here for this spot, we have 45% of tickets, 53% of cash on the Grizzlies. On the money line, same deal, 45 and 54. 83% tickets, 83% cash on the over. Kelly saying there is props for Banchero on 365. Hugh is on Memphis money line. Lex Steele, Grizzlies money line, first quarter and first half. Start with Houston. they're the third slowest team in the NBA over the last 5 games, while Memphis second fastest. Memphis is getting 10 more possessions a game. 10 more possessions a game. That's wild over the last 5. They're shooting very similar. Houston, 44.5 from the field and 33.5 from 3. Memphis, 45.2 from the field and 34.5 from 3. Rockets coming off their third win in 4 games, 135-112 at the Wizards on Tuesday. Jabari Smith, a fractured left metacarpal during a shoot-around before Friday's game against Boston. Amen Thompson also going to need to step up. I mean, we're talking step up in a huge way. It looks like Jabari Smith's going to be out for 2 months. Let's take a look and see any information. Terry Eason, game time decision still doubtful. So
injury report, I'm shocked. Freddie played the other night and he fucked up his knee and he checked out of the game in the 4th quarter. Granted, it was like a blowout, so he probably was coming out regardless. But I'm shocked he's not on the injury report.
Not on the injury report.
But if you watch that game, he was clearly in pain. He bumped knees. It was like, it was like 4th quarter, 6-minute mark. He bumped into somebody's knee on the Wizards, and he came out the game. And I'm shocked, bro. Like, I'm honestly shocked he's not on the injury report.
A lot of love here for the Grizz. Mr. Belvedere on the Grizz. Same with Justin McKelvey. Stacks play of the day. Posted it on Twitter at 4 a.m. We got Stacks on the Grizzlies as well. Shout out to our guy, Justin.
Stacks.
So Amen Thompson as a starter, 7 games as a starter, 18 points, 11.3 boards per game. He had 23 and 16 in the win over the Lakers on Sunday. And then he had 20 and 15 in that big win, 23-point win at Washington. Jalen Green, 33 against the Lakers, 29 and 30 against the Wizards. He's rolling right now. The Grizzlies snapped their 2-game losing streak with that 119-104 victory over the Mavericks on Monday. Jaren Jackson had this monster game, 34 points, 13 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. He became the first player in franchise history to go for 30, 10, 5, and 3 in a game. But we have injuries. Now, this 4-point move must be Ja coming back from
Ja and Desmond should be back. They practice.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that Desmond was going to be in. We thought he might have. I mean, it was a very, he missed.
No, they both practiced in their last Memphis practice. Today's Thursday. They practice Tuesday.
Yeah, that all makes sense here. Well, let's just get the actual final information here, because so Ja back, Bane back. If
I don't even see an injury tag for Ja Moran. No, I do.
No, he's listed as questionable, but the market's telling us that he's in. Bane as well. Here, Bane is questionable, but both expected to be in. The market telling us that they're going to be in. So we've seen this huge move to the Grizzlies. We have a 50-50 situation, so it got to be injury related, this huge move. Take it away for us, Brizzy. The Grizz at home against the Rockets.
Yeah, I got to go with my gut here, and my gut tells me that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to go deep this year. And if that's the case, I think they're going to show up in this game. Houston doesn't really shoot that well on the road. Memphis, top 5 defensive, 3-point defensive team. I think this is going to be a track meet, and that's going to play right into Memphis's cards. Rockets are having a great year. They've done great things. They're going in the right direction. I think it all comes back down to earth. Memphis, one of the best teams at home, won 15 out of 19 games out of home so far, 10 out of the last 11 at the crib. I got to roll with, as Glorilla would say, what you know about Memphis, M-E-P-H-I? I'm not a big Glorilla fan, but anytime I bet the Memphis Grizzlies, that song comes up in my fucking head because they play it at every Grizzlies game. I got to decide how do I want to split this up, because ideally I was going to go half unit, Grizzlies half unit on the over. Regardless of how this game goes, I know I just shitted on the Rockets 3-point road efficiency, but god damn, man, the Grizzlies are just they're like grabbing the ball out of the rim, chucking it down the court, and just going. And John Morant back up in the lineup. I gotta figure out how I want to split this up because I didn't think Fred VanVleet was going to play, and if he's going to play, I feel like that could just be a free under. Me and Pete were talking about Kuzma the other night about how he came off of a career high game, and there was just no way Kuzma was going to do that on the second night of a back-to-back. He ended up getting hurt by halftime. Not the same situation, but I'm getting the same vibes of I should really look into the situation a little bit more about Fred VanVleet's knee, and that could just be a free under. Like, who's to say, even if he is healthy, that the guys off the bench have been playing better than him anyway? Thompson has been playing great. Both Thompson twins have been playing great. Putting OTE on the mat, but I don't want to let Matty Ice wait too long. So I would say Grizzlies money line and the over here would be my leans. Memphis Grizzlies team total over as well would also be in the cards. I think Memphis lights this one up tonight. Big on the Memphis tonight. I just got to roll with it, man. Got to roll with it. Could be a better live spot because, Rockets best first half ATS team in the NBA.
And the Rockets going to want to slow it down. I mean, we're talking a 10 possession advantage over the last 5 games with the pace of the Grizzlies. And then the Grizzlies are the one team where the star player coming back has not fit the routine. For whatever reason, Ja coming back in is just – he's being a monster in these spots. I'm curious to see where the line goes.
I'm smashing something, Irish King. Do you not – does the fit not give away what the fuck I came to the casino for? I'm wearing a jacket. I got the fucking hat on. You should see the fucking underwear. The underwear's got leprechauns on them. We're going all in, man. We came down here for a reason. We're just helping you out,
Markel, it's happened. They are the fave. They have flipped to the fave. All right, let's roll on. Next up, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We do have 4 games left in NBA, and then we have Matty Ice joining us to talk out a couple of his best bets in the taint play of the day. Let's roll. 8:30 p.m. Eastern with Portland Trailblazers 13-23, 4-15 on the road at the Dallas Mavericks 21-16, 11-6 at home at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Let's take a look at the line history here for this Blazers game. We have Blazers +8 right now. They opened up at 7.5. They're now 8. A half-point move towards the Dallas Mavericks. When we get to the total for this one, we have a 220 at a pick'em. It's opened up at 219. We have a 1-point move towards the over. Let's get to the cash flow here for this spot. We have, here we go. We have 52% of tickets, 51% of cash on the Mavericks, 91 and 91 on the over. 51, 91, 91 on the over. And let's get into this. Portland 2-3 over their past 5, playing 24th fastest pace, 96.9 possessions a game. Mavericks playing quite a bit faster, 6th fastest pace in the league, 100.80 possessions a game. Portland shooting the ball well from the field, 51% from the field over the last 5, where Dallas just 46 from the field. Dallas shooting better from 3 as they have all year, 37.3%. 3. Let's take a look at the last-minute injury information here from this one. Of course, Jeremy Grant and Thibault out. So we just need to know about Klingon. So Klingon missed the Wednesday game. So
Klingon's not important in this cap at all. I can give a fuck shits less if he's in or out.
Really, against PJ Washington and Derek Lively, wouldn't you want to switch him in for Avdia?
It doesn't make a difference. The way Shaedon Sharpe, Denny Avdia, and Simons have been playing right now, those are the people I care about.
But Shaedon's playing the 2. I mean, that has nothing to do with. Okay, well, we don't have to agree on that.
Look at the Dallas Mavericks. You would think if you didn't know anything about the Dallas Mavericks looking at this spread, you would think fucking Luka and Kyrie are in. How are they laying 8.5 points with one center of Derek Lively and Maxi Kleber in their front court with the Dwight Powell? Saw Dwight Powell sighting in that Lakers game on TNT the other night. And they're out here with Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, PJ. I'm taking this might be the ugly bet of the day. This might be the one that ends up burning my pocket. But I got to roll with the Portland Trailblazers here. You look at the way the Portland Trailblazers have been playing. Granted, it hasn't resulted into a bunch of W's. Yeah, they won that game last night, 119-100. But they've been playing really good basketball. Simons has been playing really good. Shaedon Sharpe's been playing really good. Denny Avdia has been playing really good. I like Portland here in this spot. I was honestly flabbergasted when I saw this line. I thought somebody got ruled in. This is the same exact team that just beat the Lakers the other night. That's what everybody's going to think, and they're going to parlay them up. Nah, man, I think Portland's good enough to win this one out right here tonight.
It's interesting, backing the Blazers after winning by 19. But are you honestly saying that you would rather that you're fine if it's Robert Williams in there instead of Donovan Clingan for 18 minutes of this basketball game?
It could really obviously I would love Clingan in there, but if Clingan got ruled out, would I be scared to bet the Blazers? No, I don't give a fuck.
No, not scared, but
playing 15 minutes. Derek Lively's out there. It's not like Derek Lively's a post guy that's about to go bang. He's catch lobs, get rebounds. He isn't really that much of an offensive threat. If anything, I like PJ Washington's under on his points prop because I think if certain ways and certain injury ways this goes, I think Dallas is going to have to go small tonight, man. Jaden Hardy coming off the bench, he's been probably their best player. He can't come off the bench any longer. Until he goes in the starting lineup, I'm not betting the Dallas Mavericks, man. It burnt me the other night having the Lakers in a fucking 16 parlay or whatever, but I think Portland's the spot. Like, I'm not betting Dallas in this last week. And it's crazy. How are they 8-point favorites over anybody without Kyrie and Luka? This is recency bias by its finest. Portland's been playing really good basketball. Chauncey's got these boys locked in. I think they roll here, man. They've been having a really good road trip here. Loss versus LA, they got smoked, but then they bounced back, beat Milwaukee 12.5, covered against Detroit, only lost the game by 3, won last night +2. Like, they've been rolling on this road trip. When these shitty teams go on these road trips, that's when you want to back them. Probably fade Portland Saturday when they play Miami.
I rocked with the Blazers here on our show, often. But after winning by 19 points, it's just not the way I want them. You want +8 -106?
Let me check something. I don't like giving out plays unless I have American dollars on it. And I got to go over to the kiosk and bet it because it just opened up at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
I would go 106.5 team total or Blazers +8. I got to sit this one. Like, I'm not rushing to the window to go bet NBA today. I feel like you're gonna want the injury news report for some of these games. And the way you're talking about Donovan Clingan, you would think he's still at fucking UConn. So maybe I do need to wait for this one.
I just think there's a huge difference with Williams and Clingan. I want Clingan as the backup center for me, but I've cashed with the Blazers. I've watched them help me cash, but it's all good. We roll on. Thank you.
I feel like the Mavericks could just be like that -300 that ends up losing, and you ask yourself at the end of the night, why the fuck did I parlay the Dallas Mavericks with no Kyrie and Luka? Portland's been playing great. Like, you would think that Portland would be tanking, but dog, they've been balling, man. I've been playing daily fantasy like every other night. And Simons is like going off, dude. Like, he didn't go over his point prop last night, but he went over his point prop like 7 straight games. Shaedon Sharp's playing like 40 minutes. It's like, man, they're just running the starters out there and just saying, fuck it, go play. We'll just live with the results. And I think if they're living with the results, shit, I might have to go to the window and live with the result as well.
I feel you. But let us know if any of these spots you want to make official when we get to the end of it.
Oh no, 1,000% betting the Memphis Grizzlies as soon as we walk away. I will be betting the Portland Trail Blazers in some type of way. Minnesota's going to go in a parlay. Still deciding on Detroit. Phoenix is probably going to. No, not Phoenix. Miami's going to go in a parlay. I think that's the next game.
The next one's Hawks Suns. Let's get into it. Footprint Center, Phoenix, Arizona. I've already bet the Phoenix Suns -6. I didn't need to rush it. There obviously right now I could have got the 6 with a little bit less vig if I had waited for offshores. This opened up at 5.5. It went to 6.5. It came back to 6. When it went back to 6, I moved on it at 365. From a total scenario here, we have a 238.5 at a pick'em. This has come up from 236.5. So we've had a 2-point move towards the over. When we get to the cash flow here, 36% of tickets, 42% of cash on the Phoenix Suns, 65 and 62 on the under. And yet it keeps climbing. Atlanta, fastest pace in the NBA over the last 5 games, 105.9 possessions a game. Not shooting the ball particularly well. Of course, we have Trae Young's half-court heave last out, but 45.1 from the field, 34.4 from the three. Phoenix hasn't been shooting the ball well from three for a while. 32.7 from three over the past 5 games, 45.7 from the field, just 1 and 4 over their past 5. 17th fastest pace at 99.2 possessions a game. Hawks snapped their 3-game losing streak, the 124-121 victory at Utah on Tuesday. Now, look, I can lose this game because I don't like the Suns. I don't like backing them. I don't want them to have to also ask them to win by margin. But this is my wheelhouse. The final game of a road trip. You lose all the first one, then you win the last one with a heave. Feel good about yourself coming into Phoenix. No Jalen Johnson with the shoulder injury, who we know is a monster. I absolutely love fading teams in the final game of a road trip coming off of a win. It's one of my favorite spots. Shout out to Financially Free and Focused, now a PSR Gold member. And we have a free entry into the big confidence pool coming up here shortly. So here we go. The Suns coming off their 5th loss in 6 games. They've been playing terrible. 150-104 at Charlotte on Tuesday. They looked awful. 39 for Booker and 26 for KD. This team went 8 of 33 from 3. Yes, this is their 3rd game in 4 nights. Yes, they're 2-8 over their past 10. But I just feel like this Hawks team is vulnerable right now. The number is not attractive to anybody. Who would want them? So I'm on the Suns -6 at -110. Andrew talking about Beal to the bench. I think that helps them as well. But this is a real ugly roster, basically. Take it away for us, Brizzy. Hawks Suns.
Yeah, right there with you, man. You got to roll with the Phoenix Suns here. Yeah, it's a little bit chalky, but that's just the world that we live in nowadays, in this world of gambling, of everything being available. The Hawks have lost ATS in their past 4 games, all on the road. Their defense has allowed 120 more points in 3 of those games. I think Phoenix gets right back at home. I think the perks of watching games on NBA League Pass is you can hear a little bit of like what the coaches are saying. And man, who's not happy about that defense. They're watching the Sixers game. He called like a timeout, 2 timeouts to like the first 4 minutes of the game. And he was just yelling at them. He's like, do you guys care? Do you guys care, basically? And they're like, all right, we're going to lock it. They end up coming back and whooping the Sixers' ass. But if you watch the first quarter of that game, that shit was a shit show for the Suns. Ever since then, to be kind of locked in, I would go Suns here, double result in the -6 here. I think the Suns are going to come out hot here in the first half. No Jalen Johnson here for the Atlanta Hawks. No Billy Brisbane will be on the Atlanta Hawks. So Suns double result, Suns -6.
Nice. Again, I'm going to wait until you after the show, decide what you want to make official for our record keeping.
I got to send you, I was texting Jose, I got to send you the document of all the bets from the shows and stuff like that for the NBA.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great, man. So I'll wait for you on this one. But I have bet the Suns -6 and -110. This is the final spot on the board before we have a appearance from Matty Icestar, the taint play of the day. Lakers game is canceled, so we have Heat Jazz to close things up. Heat 18-17, 8-10 on the road. Utah Jazz 9-26, 2-3 at home at Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. We have a line here. This total's at 222. It's juiced to the under at -110. This opened up -108. There's been a half-point move towards the under. We get to the spread here for this one. We have Utah +5.5 at even money. They opened up +5.5 -106. So we've had 4 or 5 cent move towards the Heat. Let's get into the cash flow. We have 54% of tickets, 48% of cash on the Jazz, 88 and 83 on the over. Miami, both teams 2-3 over the past 5. Utah playing at a faster pace. Miami playing at 22nd fastest pace, 97.15 possessions a game. Shooting 48.3 from the field, but poor from 3 at 34.5%. Utah playing at 7th fastest pace in the league, 100.7 possessions a game. Shooting 46.6 from the field and 36.2% from 3. We have the Heat coming in off snapping their 3-game losing streak with a 114-98 win at the Warriors on Tuesday. This is the 3rd game in 4 nights and the 2nd game of a 6-game road trip. The Jazz come in off a 124-121 loss. I don't think that was it. I think it was 120, but whatever. Loss
we just
at home.
played each other this past Saturday.
These 2 teams, yes. Yeah, I've got on Saturday. That's when Sensabaugh went for 34. Collins 24.
Wow.
That was Yeah, that was
one of the wildest things ever, Jim. I came on the Saturday show all about the hoops because somebody was out, and I was saying to Dutch, how do we not go to the window with Utah plus 9.5? What is it, fucking 2012? When the Heat lay in double digits against anybody? And they thought I was fucking around because I was smoking a joint on the show. Dutch said, if you're going to do the show, you got to smoke on the show, Bill. I appreciate the plays, but you got to smoke on the show. So I was smoking on the show. They thought I was fucking around, and I was being dead ass serious about, like, yo, how the fuck are the Heat laying double digits against anybody? They got absolutely fucking smoked like a cigar in that game. Tyler Hero was looking like a sick puppy at the post-press game conference talking about, yeah, man, these is just one of those ones you just got to let go, man. That's real shit. They might have let it go, but they circled it right back. I think the Miami Heat are going to go in here tonight and definitely try to put on a defensive performance. As much as I want to bet the Heat, I think the under could be the best play in this game, under 225.5. Miami's got to be locked in with Utah with all their injuries on their offense tonight. I think this is a Miami spot. Miami rolls here. I feel bad for the people. I'll give out some college football plays that I'm on for tonight. Riley Leonard, anytime touchdown, -110. FanDuel Sportsbook has the best odds. Jajarian Prince, anytime touchdown, +145. Caesar Sportsbook. He's the backup running back for the Irish. Jeremiah Love's ruled into the game, but his fucking anytime touchdown prop, first touchdown prop, all of his props are still the most bet on player props at Caesar Sportsbooks and across all of Vegas today. So I'm going the other way, bro. They're going to give Jajarian Prince a couple of totes of the rock, man. He's been looking really good, looked really good in that Indiana game, looked really good in the Georgia game. I like the way that he's been playing. I also have a same game parlay of Notre Dame +8.5, the under 55.5 alt line, and Mitchell Evans, the tight end. He was the star player for Notre Dame last year, and he ended up blowing out his ACL, but then he ended up coming back this year. Got hot right before the playoffs, but in the playoffs hasn't really done too much. It's really been the lacrosse kid on the team, outside wide receiver Fajon. I'm jacking up his name, but the lacrosse kid, he's been really snapping. He had that touchdown against Georgia, but I think they're going to go the other way. I think they're going to go down the middle. Everyone's talking about Warren on the other side for Penn State. I think it's going to be Mitchell Evans, man. So I've ran that little 3-leg parlay +8.5, the under 55.5, and Mitchell Evans 2 catches +100, and then a weekend parlay that I'm literally about to go place right now. You can book me in for it. It is the Eagle parlay. We're going with the first leg is UFC Vegas 101. We're going live here Saturday. We're back. First leg of the parlay, first fight of the night. Nurullo Aliyev, the Tajikistan Eagle. He is the first fight of the night. The story about him, he used to be on when Khabib's dad was alive. He was actually on their, like, his dad used to train him. He missed weight or some shit like that in the regional scenes, and Khabib's dad ended up basically cutting him from the team, and he ended up dying like 3-4 months later after. So it just took him a long time to come over to America, and he came over to America, he literally looks like a second coming of Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he's been out for a year and a half with a layoff. We're getting a really good line. Dude that he's fighting is Joe Selecki on short notice. Man, you're a grappler on short notice fighting another grappler from Dagestan or Tajikistan who looks like Khabib. Tells you everything you need to know. And if we're going with the Eagle parlay, you know what the second leg is going to be, Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to run it up this weekend, baby. Let's go.
There he is, our guy, Brizzy, live from Atlantic City. Thank you for rocking with us, man. We got that huge Saturday. We got the starting 5, NFL Pub Up, and then big UFC Vegas 101. Please support Brizzy, and please support the Locker Room Talk podcast, our #1 show here on the channel. Please support it. And Brizzy, I don't know how you want to handle things with making things official here for today's show. Just let me know however you want to handle it, my man. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
I'll tweet out the plays to I'll just at you in a tweet and tweet out everything that I end up betting. College basketball spot that I like tonight. I don't see it on here, so it must be on the added board. Albany -8. Don't ask any fucking questions. You think I'm betting a fucking Albany basketball game -8 for no reason? Just bet it.
Respect. There he is, our guy, Brizzy. Now, we have a $50 horse race to get free entry into our big confidence bowl. But first, a rare appearance from our guy, the star of the Taint play of the day. Please welcome Mr. Matty Maddie, what's good, man? Maddie, can you move your phone sideways so we can get you full screen? There we go. There we go. There we go. That's beauty.
What's up?
Maddie, what's happening, man? How are you, my guy?
How you guys doing? Sorry, I gotta figure this shit out. My bad.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, we always need a horizontal so we get the full screen.
There we go.
Full screen in effect. Maddie, it is great to see you, my man. Let's go. So we got 3 different plays that you're rocking with us with.
Yeah, I mean, I gave you guys my full card, but it's not often I get to come on here. I think this might be our first time together, actually, after 5-6 years, doing this. So I'm super stoked, man. This is exciting for me. Just having to work out, so I'm glad it did.
I love it. I love it, Maddie. We all love the Taint play of the day and all that you bring to our channel. I know Taint's been on a huge heater right now. Excited to have you on, my man. Where are we starting, Maddie?
Yeah, let's go. We'll go right to the Taint. There's a couple angles I love. I know everybody does their capping differently. That's what's awesome about this thing that we all do. There's the like what Ron does with his system and Troy and stuff like that. I don't do that. Like, I'm all about kind of numbers, feel, and then deep diving into different things and figuring out different angles and stuff like that. And there's 2 huge angles that I really like today that I wanted to share. The first one we'll go to is that Oregon at Ohio State game. Really like that Ohio State plays tomorrow. My wife and my kids, they're all freaking Buckeye fans. I was just at the game Friday night down there at Columbus against Michigan State. Of course, I'm a Sparty. And that whole upper bowl was dead. And I don't know if it was because, a couple angles. Students probably weren't back to school quite yet, but they also, most of the fan base was, they just played that bowl game, that playoff game a few days before. Now they got the playoff game tomorrow. I'm not sure how many people are going to be excited about, an OSU basketball game when Ohio State plays Texas tomorrow. So I love that angle, first of all. Second of all, I was there on a Friday night, and the whole upper bowl was empty. I gave out a live play on that game, Michigan State live money line. If you guys follow me on Twitter, gave that out. That cashed. And it's just, there's not much energy there. Furthermore, I don't think Ohio State's very good at basketball. I'll be honest with you. They're a little overrated. I don't think they're that great. Oregon's got better athletes. I think Oregon's a better team. We're getting them on a Thursday night now at 6 p.m. It's just another weird start time. OSU, Texas, tomorrow. Diebler, first-year coach, not great coach, in my opinion. This is just Oregon. I got Oregon plus 3.5. I think it's plus 2.5 now. I still support that. I think OSU struggles to win this game tonight, to be honest with you.
I love the look. The Ducks being backed by our Matty Ice here. That is the play of the day. Also, first half under too. I like that first half under. I got a 71.5. It's 70.5 now. I support that as well. I think they just don't. They're not very impressive offensively, and like I said, it's just kind of a sleepy environment. I like that first half under 70.5. I think is what BetMGM has at it now, so I support that as well. Oregon plus 3.5, and the first half under 71.5. What's next for you, Matty?
Let's go to Eastern Kentucky. Here's a great angle that I love in this game. So Eastern Kentucky is playing their first home game at their newly renovated arena, the Baptist Health Arena. They did like a $55 million renovation on this place. They haven't played there all year. Today's their first game, and I promise, like, they talk about how it's like awesome for the students and the new amenities that it all has, and the students and the players like are excited about it, and so on and so forth. I mean, if I was Eastern Kentucky player, there's no way in hell I'd want to go in there and try and lose that first game at this new place, and open it up. I'd like to open it up like, you ain't beating us at our place. This is our home court, newly renovated. They spent $55 million on it. We're going to come in here and we're going to beat your ass. And you're going to have trouble scoring. You're going to have trouble playing. We're going to play defense. Energy is going to be fully on our side. I'm 100% on Eastern Kentucky today. Minus 3.5 is what I got. I think it's 4.5 now. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And then also the under, and I support the under. I got it at 171. It's down to 169.5. I support that as well. but it's just a new place. You've never played in it before, like a game. You know what I'm saying? You never played a game there before, either team. So that's a big thing in my cap, especially when we get into March Madness and stuff like that. You play in these bigger arenas or NBA gyms that these kids aren't used to shooting at and stuff like that. I'm usually all over the under on most of those situations, and it kind of supports the same thing here. Shit, sorry, that was my bad. That's so. I'm all over the under in that game too. So under, I guess whatever you can get at 169.5, and Eastern Kentucky minus whatever you can get it at. Both of those plays I think are really. I love the angles of both of them. So,
Maddie, I love it, man. I love it. This is your second X handle as well. The first one was building, and then you had to start off from scratch. So
yeah, they didn't.
Please
support. They didn't like what I had to share. I guess I don't know.
Please support our guy, Star the Taint Play of the Day. Please support him on X. He puts out action there nonstop, and the action, as you know, are winners. Matty Ice is a winner. Matty Ice, what a treat it is to rock with you on screen, man. You know, we're such big believers in your action, so it's nice for also our friends and fans in the chat to put a face to the name Matty Ice. Please support him, Matty Iceman 6 there on X. Matty, love to the fam. We've watched your young family grow up. It's been so much fun, man.
For everybody that doesn't know me or, you know, doesn't really know much about me, I'm not huge on social media. I'm not available all the time to come on here like these guys are, but I cap pretty much all day, hardly ever sleep. But Pub Sports Radio is huge in my heart, man. It's all about family here, and that's super important. And my son had his stuff going on. My mom had cancer going on. Pub Sports Radio was there literally in the hospital with me for 7 days straight. And I tuned in to watch all you guys, everybody in the chat, Jimmy, everybody that's in, like Jeff, everybody that's involved with Pub Sports Radio got me through one of the hardest times of my life. And this is why I'm forever in debt with Pub Sports Radio. And this is why this show is different than any other. So whether it's plays, we give out great plays. We give out a ton of winners. But family is the most important thing on this show to me, and you know, this is it. And please support the show, like, subscribe, share, and just like you guys got to know, if you're Pub Sports Radio person, then you love what we do here, and you appreciate everything we do here. It's far more than sports betting.
Oh, well, Big Briggsy, man, puts a smile to all our faces all the time. Every time we see a picture of Big Briggsy, it just means so much to us. And you mean so much to us and the fam. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Matty Ice. Taint Play of the Day live on camera right here. Troy Torrance, yeah, loving it. Matty Ice in the house. Well, we have our big cappers contest show in 29 minutes. I'm not going to be able to get all my action in that I need to get, but I'll get some of it in, and then I'll focus on the rest afterwards. It is time now to race for a free entry into our confidence pool here. Let's welcome the co-host of this show and the producer, young Jose Snips Woze Bouquet. How are you, my friend?
Good. It's a little chilly in old Tejas, so everything's going to shit, but I'm glad the Wi-Fi works now.
Yes, Wi-Fi back in business, my friend. We have our show celebrating Nunya and all of the cappers that got paid in full in the cappers contest. That's popping off here in 28 minutes. But first, thank you to everybody that signed up for our confidence pool. Please keep signing up. We need cappers in it so that we can keep doing it. Jose, my friend, are we ready to race?
Yes, we are. Shout out to the 79 members that we have, or should I say 80 now with Financially Free and Focused.
Yeah, that's dope.
Racing here. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to Rod for signing up earlier in the show. Will you be racing, or should I say, will you be in the confidence pool for free? Let us all find out together. Ron Crawford and Saturated take a fiery start to the front. Old Jose Bouquet up there in the lead, as well as Julian Cesario and Juan Ruiz. 45 seconds left. for glory here. Justin McKelvey,
Oh,
who
yeah.
has a Twitter now, by the way. Jimmy,
Yeah.
did you know that?
I found out
Oh,
today.
my Lord. I found that out today as well. I should say yesterday, Juan Ruiz, BT, Jimmy, who gets this entry?
Let's see. We have Robert McCormick now taking a lead here with a third of the race still to run. Chill Will right there. And here comes Helga. Helga moving forwardly as well. Top set, saturated, making a move on the outside, financially free and focused on the inside. Justin McKelvey back. Looks like he was falling off, but he'd come back. But saturated moving forwardly. Same with C-Mac moving forwardly. 5 seconds left. It's all coming down to the wire. Will Big T come on? Will Joy Arm come on? Jose Bouquet right there.
Oh, my God.
Jose Bouquet. Wow. I don't like it. I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
Victory!
Free
Look
entry.
at that.
Oh, God.
Nasty Nate beat you. One before you, Nasty Nate. Ha! There we go. Look at that. Late pace. That's what it's all about, gentlemen. Late pace.
Ooh. And this guy.
You know, you hate this is like when the Dodgers win the World Series. You hate to see it, but look at us. Look at us. Sign all the Japanese players, sign the Japanese horse riders, and you'll make it to victory.
Congratulations, Jose, on your free entry into. I don't even like it. Wow. That's a really a real letdown. Real.
You want to give two tomorrow, then? Jimmy, you want to give two free entries tomorrow? Is that what you want?
No, I'm happy that you won, man. I'm happy. I'm not. I'm trying to. I tried to turn it around there and be happy, but the smile wiped off my face faster than it was put on there.
I appreciate you at least acting a little bit happy.
I tried to smile and say but then it just I came back to reality pretty quick here.
It's blessed. These horses are.
Jose will be in the confidence pool to add to the $0 won in our pools over the years. Is that right?
No, that's false. I came in third in the first ever Cappers contest because I forgot to make a pick. But I came in third and I cashed some money that year.
Let's review action because I got to put in a little more action here. North Ender in the house. I'm on both of those bets. North Ender, my man. Stacks on the Grizzlies plus 2.5. Florida Gulf Coast minus 1.5. Then we have Gorky on Penn State plus 1.5. Ohio State money line and Ohio State team total over 32.5. Wine Time Sports on Penn State plus 1.5 and the under 46. Morgan Spooner on Morehead State plus 5.5. Charleston money line plus 1.5. Rutgers plus 2. South Alabama minus 125. Utah Valley plus 3.5. Nasty Nate on the Irish this evening. And Marty has 5 starters here, starting with race 3 that already raced at 124. Did he win that race?
Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't. I wasn't listening.
Drexler, Marty Drexler, with 5 starters today.
Oh, I did not notice. I didn't know. I should bet him right now.
Kong's clips 4 units on Notre Dame. 4, and he's got Soriano at plus 164. We have Morgan Spooner looking at UMass Lowell as well at minus 5 today. Play today from Ron Crawford. Our guy Ron Crawford is Oregon. I have other sports here. I don't know where the hell they've gone to. Here we go. Oregon plus 3, Memphis plus 2.5, and the Vegas Golden Knights at minus 1.5 for our guy. Star of the spreadsheet play of the day, Ron Crawford. By the way, Troy Torrance says Alar's graded out above average in just 1 game since week 10. Alar.
He is Christian Hackenberg 2.0.
The first half under 23.5 for Billy Friedrich. Robert Franklin on Penn State, a money line. Dexter Pope on Alar under at 1.5 passing touchdowns. Says no other legal book has under minus 210. He got minus 160 at 365. For the college football playoff semifinal, Bobano tomorrow on Ohio State over 52. But today he's on tonight, Notre Dame money line. Leonard over 11.5 rush attempts. Leonard over 44.5 rush yards. Faison over 39.5 receiving yards. And Alar Aller interception. Then the field goals is something I'm looking at here.
Oh, just field goals, not on a side?
I don't know if I'm going to get to the side, but I'm looking at first half full game under, but I'm going to need to bet that real fast. The Juice, we expect Abdul Carter to play tonight, but he is dealing with the arm injury. Then in college basketball, Chattanooga -2.5 for Bobano. I'm interested. Dabby Cab on Oregon first half +2, Bobano +3.5, and we've already heard from Taint. That's Oregon as well, +3.5. Rutgers +2.5 for Bobano. I'm thinking of a double up spot here on Rutgers. Dylan Harper for Dabby Cab over 1.5 threes, not to be confused with Dillian Harper. Hofstra -106. I'm looking to join on that Bobano look over 139.5 as well. Huskies Michigan State was a stay off. Arkansas State Red Wolves, I'm interested in joining. Bobano on Queens University +14.5. I'm interested to see what's happened with this market now that we've sat on it for a little bit, because everybody was on Queens at the number. It went from 15 to +13.5, but still a Utah Valley I'm very interested in, but I might wait. I think the line's going to continue to move towards Grand Canyon. Northridge for me, but then I'd be going heads up against Bobano on UC Irvine, so I want to plan that out properly. Santa Clara for me as well. DC Capper on Rutgers as well. Mr. Belvedere on Little Rock -3.5. Wright State -2. Eastern Kentucky -3. Florida International +8. Southern Utah -7. Denver to pick 'em, and Southeast Missouri State at -7. I moved on the Raptors. You know, when I make these decisions so quickly during the show, it hasn't worked out well for me. But the 14.5 has dropped to 13.5 at 365. And the strange thing, though, which really threw me for a loop, is the 4.5's gone up to 5. So I should have waited a second for that, but disappointing here. Yes, we'll go over NHL here. Sorry, I guess I skipped. Did I skip that? I must have. Raptors first quarter in full game, though, I've bet. I'm interested in the Cade Cunningham props. I'm interested in the Magic as soon as Banchero is announced out. If he's announced in, I'll just stay off. The Grizz is a look here from a bunch of cappers in the chat. I'm going to spend a little more time on it. Blazers, Mavericks, I'm off, but we have our guy Brizzy bullish on the Blazers. Suns -6, I already bet. And then to NHL here. I'm Bobano on the first period over in the full game over in Sabres Ottawa. I'm going to take another look at it. I'm on the Lightning -1. I like it very much. Bobano on Lightning money line, the over 1.5 first period and the over 5.5. I'm on the Devils -1. And that it's not my favorite spot yet. Bobano on the Devils team total over 3.5 and Hughes for a goal. Bobano on the draw in Stars Flyers. I'm on the Oilers -1. Bobano on the Oilers team total over 3.5. I really like the Oilers -1. I really like the Kraken. Bobano on the over 1.5 first period and the over 6. I like the under 6 at -20 very much. Now that line's not available anymore. I'm interested in that under in Anaheim, St. Louis, and maybe moving on the Ducks. But I really think that the Avs are the best bet on the board. It's Minnesota's shown so much character handling the injuries to Kaprizov and to a lesser extent Jared Spurgeon, but how are they going to handle Brock Faber being out? And the answer is, though, they won't. They won't. So
I kind of like the Blue Jackets
without Monahan.
Yeah, I kind of like the Blue Jackets today. The market's kind of saying, the market's saying Seattle Kraken. Exact opposite. I apologize. Is that opened up at like minus, or it opened up -110 each way, basically now -127 Seattle. 55% of the bet, 73% of the money on the Blue Jackets. So,
and it's because Monahan, who is being absolutely phenomenal, is going to be out with a wrist injury for an extended period.
Yeah. So I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, I bet the Kraken -108. Kraken are the but I think Colorado might be a better bet. Even I might even add the under here. Billy Friedrich, I love these Thursdays. At least I don't need to sweat it out live in front of everybody. And then I might add Vegas -1. We got to go. We have our show popping off in 18 minutes. I've got to get some action. I'm certainly not going to be able to get. I'm not going to be able to get my college basketball action in. That's fine.
Yes, but at least today's show will be rather short.
Yes.
So you can get your action and hopefully expeditiously after as well. So If you are a winner of the cash, you'll find out on this show. I'm sure if you've already won money, you will already know that. But join us, Cappers Contest. We'll celebrate our guy Nunya, and we'll answer any questions people might have about the confidence pool and any questions about getting paid out for Cappers Contest there.
I like the Canes tonight, North Ender. I don't even care that it's moving that much because I can just take it to the -1 line. I'm going to sit with that a little bit longer. I've got lots of work to do. Again, you get all this information from the show, from the Cappers on screen and the Cappers in the chat.
Big Canadian bets on Toronto.
Really?
I'm assuming, the Canadian bets, obviously. It's pretty split money-wise. 43% of the money on the Maple Leafs, 57% of the money on the Hurricanes, but the Hurricanes have 76% of the tickets. So I'm just guessing those are big Canadian bettors right there. But I don't know.
Hurricanes have been playing just so pedestrian. It's such a huge line, which is telling.
I thought the same thing. Yeah, I was pretty surprised at how big that line was, and I thought, oh, it must be the Carolina Hurricanes roll.
Yeah, I mean, the Leafs have won 5 straight, so it's a tricky spot sort of getting in the way of that. But they've been outplayed in a lot of those games. The Wall's been just standing on his head. All right, a lot more work to do. A lot more work to do here, but we reunite again tomorrow for Betting with Bag Friday. We have a huge weekend ahead of us. Thank you to all the Cappers in the chat. Bunkhoot! Saturated, Billy Friedrich, T-Moss, North Ender, Gorky, Guillermo Zertucci. What a great group. Billy Friedrich, thank you for all that you do. Redbeard as well. I think Redbeard, a lot of our NHL is similar tonight. Thank you. Mr. Belvedere, Action Jackson, Troy Torrance, The Juice, Barry Roselle. Thank you to all of you guys for your support. Voodoo Ranger, Bo Jackson, Kelly McKinnis, Sir Mackie Loves Pie. Thank you to everybody in green, especially, and our gold members. It means so much to us. Keeps us going. Christian Rivas, Old National, Rez Mob, Hugh, Janus, Rem Most. Thank you guys. Justin McKelvey, all of you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do for us here at the show. Now it's time to go out there and get that cash. Something we've been doing for a few months now. Great start to the year, but we got to keep it going. We got to keep it locked in. To everybody in Los Angeles, we're thinking of you, hoping that you're safe. For those of you who've been evacuated, we're hoping that you don't lose your homes. For those of you worrying about being evacuated, I hope that the wind changes and it's not the case. We're thinking of all of our LA friends and Cappers right now. So thoughts towards you all. My man, take us home, Mr. Bouquet, and put a bow on the show.
Shout out to all the LA Cappers. That stuff is indeed very scurry. Hope your family's doing well over there as well, Jimmy. So shout out to them. And shout out to everyone out there. So shout out to all you guys. Appreciate for everyone watching. Let's go make some money tonight. We need it tonight. So let's go get it. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers. Let's go.
Harbour Acre Cottage is offering the Harmony Grand at Malega Lake. A private 2-bedroom modern log cottage, lakeside along Malega Lake. Reserve your dates now on Airbnb.